Test 1 2 1 2.
Good evening, and welcome to the regularly scheduled May meeting of the Bonsall Unified School District Board of Trustees. We will start with a roll call.
Nanu Uswa here. Eiley Trustee here.
Erica Tega here.
Pascal Lapoirie here.
Roger Murchat here.
Michael Gadd is here.
And Larissa Anderson here. And if we can all rise and have our student board members lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all for being here. It's nice to see a full house. Prior to convening here in open session, the board met in closed session where we considered the appointment, employment, evaluation of performance, discipline, transfer, and dismissal of employees, discussed our position regarding collective bargaining with the Bonsall Teachers Association and the California School Employees Association, Chapter 703, in order to direct the superintendent as chief negotiator in the matter of BTA and CSEA contracts. Spoke regarding the public employee performance evaluation per Government Code 54957 regarding the superintendent evaluation, conference with legal counsel, and in closed session, the board took action to approve a final settlement agreement and general release in OAH case number 20250303352. Under this agreement, the district will fund and provide educational services to the student involved. In return, the student's parents have agreed to release all claims against the district as detailed in the settlement agreement. Upon a motion by Trustee Ortega and a second by Trustee Lapoirie, the motion passed 5-0. Also in closed session, the board took action to approve a settlement agreement and release in a unfiled employee matter. All parties agree that the settlement agreement resolves the dispute over compensation. Upon a motion by Trustee Ortega and a second by Trustee Lapoirie, the motion passed 5-0. And the board also discussed real property negotiation with the property location on the east side of Horse Creek Ranch Road in Fallbrook. That takes us to our agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the current agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the minutes for the regular meetings of March 13th and April 8th, as well as the special meetings of March 27th and April 15th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Brings us now to our reports, and for the reason why most of us are in the room today, our superintendent report and our recognitions.
Good evening, board and Ms. McInerney, and so amazing to see this full house tonight. I am Dr. Heather Golly, very proud superintendent here in Bonsall Unified, and I'm super happy to bring the superintendent report to you tonight at our May 8th, somehow it's already May, our May 8th board meeting. And this picture that you can see, if you look at little Ida's face, take a look at her. Right? That's my face when I think, oh my gosh, how are we already in May? So that's shocking that we've got 1 month left of school, bless you, which is just really, really incredible. But that's not why Ida's giving us that face. What you may not be able to see, and you might have to squint, is Miss Peck is holding a little baby chick. And she is probably looking like I did when I got to see a chick hatch for the first time in my life in Miss Peck's classroom last year. And I had to show you this because this is just an example of the many, many amazing things that I get the advantage to see as I walk through our classrooms and see what it is that's happening in Bonsall Unified School District. And it's a great example of the ways that we embody belong, believe, and achieve in all of our classrooms. And as you know, we like to start with our vision and our mission. I also think that you're going to see a lot of our vision and mission in action tonight. And for your last board meeting, Nani, would you please read our BUSD vision loud and clear for all of our guests to hear?
Yes. All students in Bonsall Unified School District engage in rigorous and relevant learning experiences that inspire them to be productive community members and future-ready lifelong learners.
Excellent, thank you. And Eiley, would you please read our mission?
We empower all students to thrive in a positive, safe, and supportive environment through high-quality education focused on the whole learner.
Thank you so much. And for everybody who's maybe seeing this for the first time tonight, I know many of you, you're used to us looking at this. That vision is what we aspire to. The mission is what we do every single day to get us there. The learner profile outcomes we see in action all the time, and our values along the bottom, you're going to see a lot of evidence of that tonight. And I think it's really appropriate that this happens to be a week where we are celebrating our staff. This is Staff Appreciation Week, and if you were at any of our sites this week, you would see a lot of amazing appreciation happening from our students and from our families, from our PTA groups. As a matter of fact, as you can see up there in the right-hand corner, our PTA at Bonsall Elementary had flowers donated, so every single student could pick a flower and make sure that they gave that to their teachers. And my favorite thing as a teacher for a long time, handmade cards. That's really what I think is something that you just hold on to. There's a quotation there from Mandela that I want to make sure I highlight. He said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And I need to be very clear tonight that the strength of our school district lies not just in resources we provide. That's important. The programs we implement are important. But the strength really lies in the dedication, the passion, and the resilience of our staff. And we have some of the finest staff members that I've ever seen. Every single day, our teachers, our support staff, our administrators, they come together to ensure that each student feels seen, heard, and supported, that they belong, believe, and achieve. In challenging and interesting times that we're seeing right now, the work we do in education has the power to shape the future, not just for our students, but for our entire community. And you're going to see a lot of evidence of that, as I said tonight. We're super fortunate to work alongside such incredible professionals. They're shaping our students and our community one student at a time. So as we're reflecting on all the things that you hear tonight, please keep in mind how much we need to express our deepest gratitude for all that those educators do inside and outside the classroom, classified and certificated staff, all alike, okay? Their efforts do not go unnoticed, and I'm super proud to serve in this district alongside all of them. So a few examples. What are some things that would not happen if we didn't have such incredibly dedicated staff? Bonsall Elementary Invention Convention, opportunities for students to be entrepreneurs and to solve real-world problems. Our Bonsall West Living Museum. Look at these famous people I got to meet. I got to meet Lucille Ball and Juliette Gordon-Lau, and she actually gave me a Girl Scout cookie. We had Amelia Earhart. I couldn't put up the pictures of Henry Ford and Michael Jackson and all of these famous figures that our students researched. It was just wonderful. That comes to life because of our staff. The annual Tomlinson Games. Many of you know that this is a tradition in Bonsall Unified. Started here by Cindy Tomlinson on the left and carried on by fine educators like Coach A and the rest of our staff across the district that ensure that a tradition like this can continue. It was awesome. Koopa Days in Paula. We had a booth where we had staff that went to make sure that we are able to support our students and our families from Paula as they are celebrating their culture and their heritage And we had staff, this is on a weekend, they're just volunteering to go and to support and to be there. That wouldn't happen if you didn't have dedicated, caring professionals. Something like the mural that we had, and I'm not going to belabor this right now because I know that both our secondary principals are going to mention this, but this was an incredible effort that would not have happened if we didn't have staff members such as Coach A, who approached our board, who approached Dr. Tipiconic, who approached Trustee Ortega and said, this is something we really feel passionate about making happen. And that's really the result of our staff. So tonight, as you're listening to, and we're about to get into some recognitions where you're going to get to really see on a personal level some of the incredible staff that we have. As you're listening to the rest of the presentations, I just want us to keep that lens that we're super fortunate to have the people that we have in our organization. We also have a lot of staff members, and I just want to shout out, we have a lot of them coming to support our facilities planning. And I want to just mention that that is continuing. Next week, we have our next BUSD Advisory Committee meeting on May 14th. We are continuing to explore things like funding options with developers, various school configurations, adjusting study maps so that we can actually look at the student generation that's coming from these developments so that we can identify projects, prioritize, and establish budgets. And we have committed staff members who are coming to participate in that, along with committed community members who are supporting us. If you do want to track some of the progress or just have updates, we are putting everything on our website. So underneath the business services, there is a link for facilities planning, and you can click on it, you can get updates, you can see the slide deck, so if you can't make it to the meetings, you can still see some of the work that we're doing. And again, shout out to the staff that don't have to come and support with all of that, but they do, and we're really appreciative. Now, I'm keeping my remarks somewhat brief tonight because I know what we really want to see tonight are some recognitions before we get started with the rest of the board meeting, right? And the first recognitions, as I said, it's perfect timing with Staff Appreciation Week. I'm going to call our wonderful Executive Director of Human Resources and Student Services up to start us with recognitions of our very, very valued employees. So, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Gawley, and good evening, Governing Board. It's so nice to be here, and this is really a special night for us in education. This is the night when we have the opportunity to celebrate the very best, and with so many fantastic staff members across our district, it's really hard to pick, but we've got some exceptional employees that we want to bring forward to you tonight. And I'd like to start with our Site Classified Employees of the Year. I just want you to know that both for our Classified Employees of the Year and also for our Site Teachers of the Year, this is colleague driven. So these are folks on the campus saying that these folks we want to put forward as someone who really embodies all those qualities that embodies the mission, the vision, and the values of our district. So let's do this way. Classified Site Employees of the Year, I'll call you up, and if you could just stand up here, and then I'd like to say a few words about each one of you. And after we do that, we've got a wonderful video about our district Classified Employee of the Year, and then we're going to gravitate right over here, and hopefully some of our principals can get right behind those chairs, and we'd love to take some photographs so that we can share out with everyone. So with that being said, let's move forward here. Let's call up Maddie Casillas from Sullivan Middle School, paraprofessional. Also, we'd like Sonia Johnson from Bonsall West Elementary School. Tisha Tokars, Bonsall Elementary School. And from Bonsall High School, Counseling and Career Technician, High School Registrar Crystal Diaz. From District Operations, Jonathan Castellanos. And from Vivian Banks Charter School, paraprofessional Jackie Withers. All right. So, oh, right here. Okay, either side. You guys can come. Okay, there you go. Fantastic. So I'd like to share a little bit about Maddie Casillas from Sullivan Middle School. Her genuine care for the future of our children and her passion for facilitating their success truly sets her apart. She is 100% there for the students. She makes connections, meets their needs, and is completely dependable and cares with her whole heart for students. She walks around campus with a smile and is willing to do whatever, whenever, for all of us. Her innovation and creative approaches to students and professionalism have made her a key figure in our students' success. Congratulations, Maddie. Sonia Johnson, Bonsall West. Sonia demonstrates compassion and patience in her incredibly important work serving and supporting students. She works tirelessly with students in the mild mod setting, providing essential support for their IEP goals and to carry out their 504 plans with fidelity. The skills she demonstrates managing her workload and fulfilling all that is asked of her, which is extraordinary, is admirable. Her dedication and kindness are not only appreciated by her coworkers, but also deeply valued by the students she works with. Congratulations, Sonia. A couple of our folks are watching online tonight. All right, Tisha Tokars, Bonsall Elementary School. She knows everything and handles everything. She solves problems quickly, communicates professionally, and makes herself available for all staff. She has a positive attitude and is an ultimate team player, whether it's ensuring substitutes are scheduled for our absences, turning on the projector for rainy day movies, setting up the NPR for staff meetings, opening the campus on weekends so we can get work, restocking our candy basket, covering noon duty, or walking the halls to assist a student in need. Her contributions are countless. Well done, Tisha. And Crystal Diaz, Bonsall High School. Oh my gosh. Oh, good. We got it right on the screen. Okay. We got it right one place. Forgive me, Crystal. Let's share a few words about Crystal Dents. Crystal has been an unwavering pillar of support for the entire Bonsall High School community. Her commitment to students, families, and staff shines through everything she does. From organizing our annual car show to coordinating impact community service opportunities and district-wide events, she is constantly doing everything she can to serve and support BHS in its day-to-day operations and for large-scale projects. Crystal brings integrity and purpose to her work and inspires those around her also. I also want to add that Crystal had this opportunity through a quick action to save a life on campus last year on someone's birthday that I won't mention, and just absolutely saved the day. And it's indicative of the things you do and the quick action you take every single day at Bonsall High School. Congratulations, Crystal. I also want to share this about Jonathan Castellanos. He works here at the district office, and many of us in this room know him really well. Whenever you interact with John, he makes you feel like $1,000,000, and he makes the district grounds and offices look that way too. John values building relationships with everyone, and he does that by his smile, handshake, hug, and friendly exchanges about family updates or weekend experiences. I know this personally from John. He brightens everyone's day, all the while his work ethic and teamwork to get the job done is top notch, and he's so deeply appreciated by the district office team. And I know John's watching online right now, and the sites that he goes out to support. Congratulations, Jonathan. Now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Jackie Withers, Vivian Banks Charter School. Jackie is not only the site classified employee of the year, but also is crowned, even though she gave up her crown because she's so selfless, also is crowned the Bonsall Unified School District Classified Employee of the Year. Congratulations. Mrs. Jackie Withers is the heart of Vivian Banks Charter School and has an immeasurable impact on campus each and every day. Mrs. Jackie brings not only decades of wisdom and lived experience, but a deep generational love for the Paula community that radiates through her every action. As the revered matriarch of our school, she is a pillar of strength, care, and consistency, a powerful but gentle community voice whose presence inspires both respect and affection. Congratulations, Jackie. Now, I would love you all to take a seat right over here. We're going to do a photo, but we're also going to look at a video that we put together for Jackie to celebrate her and the folks and her team at Vivian Banks Charter. So if we could have someone press the lights. It takes just a moment, and yeah, let's enjoy.
So I've known Jackie for over 10 years. I first met Jackie as a BHS parent when we first opened the high school. I was struck immediately by her just radiating warmth, her friendly smile. She is contagious with love and laughter. People go to her when there's celebrations, when there's challenges. She works with the kids and loves them as her own.
I went to school here. I went to school here before it became Vivian Banks Charter School. I was married in this church. My kids were baptized here. And so this place means a lot to me.
She wears so many hats, but I think the most important hat that she wears is caring and helping children learn. She has this great balance of compassion and understanding and love and authority and patience, and it's so needed in our classroom. Our students just love her dearly.
A lot of the kids that are here are grandchildren of the people I went to school with and the parents, and so it's like generational.
The best thing about Jackie is that when you're not feeling like you belong, she pulls you in and she makes you feel like you belong. She does that with all the children. She loves the kids. She loves them like family.
I've known her for maybe 15 years or more. It started when her kids came here, and then we gradually became friends, and now we call each other family.
I love my coworkers. They're my coworker family. They're my family. As you can see, my coworker family gave me my crown and my scepter.
I see her not only as a coworker, but as kind of a trusted confidant. She is always spot on. She knows our community.
She deserves this award because she's a team player. She goes wherever we need her. She's in the office, she's in the classroom, she's in the cafeteria. She's everywhere.
Miss Jackie is super nice. She always comforts everyone when everyone is sad.
Miss Jackie is nice and helps everyone with the internet. So she's very kind to everyone here.
It was a very big surprise. I'm very honored. Thank you, everybody who said my name. I appreciate it.
I'm going to ask that the principals, please, if you could climb in right behind them, and we're going to take a photo here. And then Dr. Golly, if you could join them as well, that would be great.
So I've known Jackie for
All right, yes, one more round of applause. Oh, okay, very good. Okay, great. Now we continue with the celebration, and we're looking forward to bring up these folks. So from Sullivan Middle School, Monica Powell. And these folks are Site Teachers of the Year. So let's bring up from Bonsall West Elementary School, Adina Hendrickson. From Bonsall Elementary School, Katie Spencer. From Vivian Banks Charter School, Lestine Emerson. And from Bonsall High School, Greg Hinchliff. So these are our superstars, and I'd like to share a few words about each one of these teachers. And I'd like to start with Monica Powell from Sullivan Middle School. Mrs. Powell, as a colleague, made clear, Mrs. Powell, as a colleague made clear, works with the attitude of, this can be done. No matter the situation or challenge, she is always poised to usher in student success. When she began her teaching journey at Sullivan in the math department, she was committed to student learning and having students skillfully demonstrate that academic achievement on state examinations. And as she followed a data-driven instructional pathway, they did. Through her years at Sullivan, everyone could always depend on her for her positive energy, yet also she had plenty of physical energy in meticulously setting labs for wonderful student science experiments and delivering lessons with enthusiasm and excitement. She has always challenged students to do their very best. Monica, we all know that you are not just closing out another remarkable year, but a storied teaching career. The school and district is deeply indebted to you, and we are so glad you were named as Sullivan's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations. Adina Hendrickson, Bonsall West Elementary. For over 20 years, she has brought a wealth of knowledge and experience nurturing young learners in her classroom. She displays a deep understanding of child development, effective teaching strategies, and how to create a positive and engaging classroom environment. Mrs. Hendrickson sets high standards, fostering a culture of accountability, perseverance, and achievement. Her students not only rise to the challenge, but also thrive under her guidance, developing both academically and personally. Students respect her deeply, knowing she genuinely cares about their growth and success. She also plays a vital role in shaping our school's future as a valued member of the leadership team. She is the embodiment of excellent teaching, leadership, and an absolute dedication to her students and their success. Well deserved, Mrs. Hendrickson. Now to Katie Spencer at Bonsall Elementary School. Mrs. Spencer, you can applaud there. Well deserved. Mrs. Spencer is an incredibly dedicated teacher who works tirelessly to create a structured, exciting, and enjoyable classroom environment for her first graders. She prioritizes the best interest of all her students and tailors her curriculum to meet the diverse needs of her class. Katie goes above and beyond to ensure her students feel loved, valued, and special. Her classroom management skills are exceptional, fostering a positive and productive learning space. Because of her expertise, she has been called on to serve as a mentor teacher for students in the Cal State Credential Program, and she is always open to welcoming her peers to observe her teaching methods. Katie does so much to share herself and her resources with the entire BES family. She is an absolute joy and treasure to all of Bonsall Elementary School. High praise to you, Mrs. Spencer. And Mrs. Amerson, Vivian Banks Charter School. Mrs. Amerson is known for her kindness, compassion, and unwavering dedication to her students. A very proud U.S. Marine Corps veteran, Mrs. Amerson brings the values of discipline, resilience, and leadership into her classroom, creating a nurturing environment where every student feels valued and empowered to succeed. Her ability to inspire and connect has made a lasting impact. Mrs. Amerson has served as a respected mentor to new teachers, offering guidance and support that has helped shape the school's strong educational and caring culture. Her current students say that Mrs. Amerson, quote, helps us learn a lot and do the right things. She's really nice and kind and helps others all the time. She has a special place in her heart for the students of the Paula community, demonstrating her deep commitment to their success. Congratulations, Ms. Amerson. Greg Hinchliff, Bonsall High School. Mr. Hinchliff is Bonsall High School's Teacher of the Year and the district's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations. Greg is collaborative, thoughtful, empathetic, and does everything he can to make sure students are engaged in class and that staff members feel supported, and, as a colleague added, an expert in organization. Greg is ready for every second of every day. Over the years, he has built and refined curriculum for a number of classes on campus that are authentic, personalized, community-focused, and engaging. This year, that work continues in his split role as a pathway specialist, where he has begun creating individualized pathways for students in the early college program. At the same time, his speech and debate program annually turns out first-place finishers at county tournaments. Greg's Native American Studies class often collaborates with the Paula tribe to bring authentic learning into the classroom. Greg, like your colleagues, you are an absolute superstar educator. Congratulations. Now I'm going to ask our teachers to find a seat right over here, if you could, to the left, to your left. And what we're going to see is the video that the district submitted to the county, because Mr. Hinchliff is very much in deep now. They're really looking at him closely to be selected as one of the county teachers of the year. So we're very hopeful for that. It would be well deserved. We'll go ahead and roll the video with the lights again, please.
One of the big whys for me in terms of getting into education is its impact on society.
Greg not only inspires all of our students, but he inspires our staff and he inspires our community and brings us together.
My name is Greg Hinchliff. This is my 8th year teaching at Bonsall High School. Taught a variety of subjects here, all grade levels: English, Spanish, history, speech and debate, and Native American Studies.
He's always really passionate about teaching and making us go outside of our comfort zones, but in a really good way.
It's super fun to be in his class, and I've learned so much from him. I went to my first speech and debate competition because of him.
I am very shy, introverted, but because of what Hinchliff has put into speech and debate with teaching us and training us, I'm actually able to talk to a crowd.
He's really able to engage the students in learning through his, I guess, unique lectures, creative assignments.
He really goes above and beyond for all of his classes and students.
One of the things I do as an educator is I make sure to involve myself with the community at large. For example, partnering with San Diego County Office of Ed and some of the organizations that they work with. One of my biggest partners who I've delved so much into their research is California Indian Education for All.
Greg is working with the state, he's working with local agencies to build a Native American curriculum. He's working with our local tribes to bring in real experiences for our students to get to know all of the culture that really preceded us here in this area.
I really enjoyed working with other teachers up and down the state to come together and ensure that teachers, wherever they are in California, have an opportunity to bring into their classroom authentic and culturally responsive materials.
It does kind of hit close to home for me since I'm Native American. I'm from Paula. It really was something I wanted to pursue.
I love to bring my own personal background into the class. I have a lot of different hobbies. One of my favorite things is traveling. As I have gone through my travels and interacted with different cultures, different people, I always want to make sure that I'm incorporating what they've taught me.
He is always intentional about the way that he designs his lessons, the way that he designs projects. He's always very focused on what is the end result and how am I going to get my students there.
He has such a passion for teaching, but also he just really inspires staff by promoting culture within our school and community.
If we could have the principals join our teachers. All right, and let's have one more round of applause.
As I said, you would get to see some of our best and brightest, and congratulations to all of our employees of the year. Simply fantastic. Thank you for representing us so well. Now, we know that as part of a school district, it is absolutely essential that we have strong community partners. And we've got a couple really outstanding community partners that we want to recognize tonight. And the first one that I want to recognize, let's see, I think I'm going to be right here. This is a really special group who has done some incredibly special things for our community. And I'd like to bring up, oh my gosh, a variety of people. We should have here, I see Brent McFarland, I see Billy Walker, I see Jeff Strickfaden, I see Connor McFadden, I see Jesse and Luce, right? Can you please come up if you're with North Coast Church? Okay, yes, you want to hold on to that for me for a second? Okay, all right. So, yes, this is a really special group. And I will say, before I share some of what they've done, I've had the opportunity to see what North Coast Church has done through their Serve Your City, used to be called Weekend of Service, if I have that right, yes? I've seen projects all across North County, and I've experienced it since this is my 30th year in education here in North County. And it is truly remarkable when you have a group that identifies something that they see as a need. They see something that's a problem. They see something that is just could help out the community. And they literally shut down all of their services and spend months and months in preparation to complete projects simply because they recognize that they could help. which is really, truly remarkable. And I'm going to share a couple things about what I've seen, especially this year. I had the privilege of witnessing the many, many hours of preparation, the organization that occurred for months before the event. I know that it's called a Serve Your City. I know that I'm glad you actually changed it, because it's not a weekend of service, right? It's so much more than a weekend, and we know that. I think finally you were like, we just have to change this. It is not just a weekend. There's no way. But the impressive coordination that had to happen for two massive projects. And what you see right here is literally a quarter of the volunteers that came out, because what I captured here was the start of one shift in our Bonsall Farm project and one shift of our Sullivan Middle School project. And so you would times that by, well, I can't do the math, but that's 1/4, okay? So it's amazing, all right? The progress that they were able to accomplish in the space of that weekend was absolutely amazing. And I had shared with them, when I greeted the volunteers, I shared with them our values, and I kept them right there at the bottom: service, innovation, collaboration, integrity. And I stated this then when I greeted your volunteers. I'm stating it again. You literally are a beautiful embodiment of all of those values in action. And that is absolutely incredible. We talk about think global, act local. Well, that's exactly what you're doing. So as you know, North Coast Church was responsible, many of you know, for the first phase of our Bonsall Farm. So for all of our students who have benefited from the incredible experiences in our Bonsall Farm, that only happened because we had a partnership with North Coast Church, and Joseph Clevenger worked very, very closely with North Coast Church to ensure that that project could be successful, and it has just grown. It has grown tremendously to the point where they identified Bonsall Farm as another project for this year, okay? And with the Phase 2 project, they've once again made a tremendous impact. And I'll just show you a few of the pictures. I have an entire photo gallery that I can't wait to share with everyone. But with this Phase 2 project, they cleared and leveled land for better accessibility. They improved drainage systems to prevent flooding. They repaired and reinforced structures like the pergola roofs. They added irrigation to the orchard. They installed 15 more citrus trees. They enhanced the farm's security with new fencing. A shade structure and a large metal shed were also added, along with a hybrid aquaponics system. Thank you, Brent. I think you might have had a hand in designing that using something called CAD, I think, in the greenhouse to support sustainable food production. Their work has significantly improved the farm's functionality, security, and capacity for hands-on student learning. And all of our students at the elementary level right now get to experience that, and we're looking at ways to phase that out so that our high school students can as well. And that is absolutely beautiful. At Sullivan Middle School, and I'll come back to that quotation in a minute. At Sullivan Middle School, they recognized that our aging portables needed a significant facelift. And I was speaking with Brent and some others about some of the needs that we had, and literally Brent and Connor said, maybe we can help. And they came and they walked the campus and said, oh, we think we can probably do something. Look at your staff lounge. That's absolutely horrendous that's what your staff has as a chance to go relax. And then they just kept growing it. They brought in Luce, this incredible muralist who helped design with Angie and her team the entire front office. When you see the finished product and the murals that she was able to complete with all of these volunteers, just absolutely beautiful. And I think the project kept growing because I think they were going to paint 5 classrooms, and then they were moving quickly, so they painted 10 classrooms. They doubled the amount they originally planned to tackle. The entire front office was painted in advance. The whole staff lounge was gutted. They again had to do a ton of work to prep it. Let's see some of the other things. Oh, and the words all over the office. Students, we have pictures of their faces walking in for the first time seeing it, and they're just in awe because it's just filled with pride. There's Sullivan Wildcats everywhere. Kindness really matters everywhere. Hashtag Sullivan, I think. Sullivan Wildcats everywhere. Absolutely incredible. The staff lounge has new flooring, paint, lighting, a fully upgraded kitchen, including a fancy little machine that I don't know if I'm allowed to announce yet because it hasn't been revealed to the staff yet. It was really truly just a stunning amount of work, and really all of it, just like I said, a meaningful exemplar of what it is to have a spirit of service and collaboration. I was telling a group of volunteers that just came purely out of my heart that I was leaving on Saturday after the last shift, and I was watching the trees. I was looking at the trees, and they were finishing up with some of the planting. And I thought of that proverb that says, "Blessed are those who plant trees under whose shade they will not sit." And that's really what so many of your projects, that's what you're doing. It's not necessarily all people that were tied to Sullivan or the Bonsall farm. You are planting trees, metaphorically and literally, under whose shade you will not sit. And we're just so grateful. And I do want to recognize, too, that we have staff members that we want to recognize who had to, they worked with you so intensively. I'll throw out some of their names right now. John Norton, Manny Rodriguez. We had Haley Berkness and Audrey Greenwood, and at Sullivan, Angie James, who I think was just there 24/7, Linda Pipe, Leo Herrera, so many of our staff members, and they were so excited to do it. They were energized by your spirit, and they were just, again, everyone is so incredibly grateful. So with that, on behalf of Bonsall Unified School District, it's my honor to present, do I have? Yes. I want to present a certificate here of recognition to North Coast Church as an exemplary community partner. My quotation had to make it in there, okay? So it is listed on there. I'm glad it did too, right? And it just states a lot of what I just stated along with that wonderful quotation because, again, that is what you represent. So from the bottom of our hearts, we are so, so, so grateful. Thank you. And again, I think, Billy, you're just part of Sullivan's staff now, right? Brent, you too, Luce, Jesse, and Jeff, you're just in our Bonsall farm as much as you want, okay? So thank you so much, all of you. We're truly grateful. So we've had so many wonderful, beautiful things happening that we're not limiting it to one community partner that we're recognizing tonight. We have another very, very special community partner that we want to call up. And we are going, yes, there's our President Anderson right in the middle. Could I please have President Patty Miriam from Bonsall Women's Club come to the podium? Yes. Yes, it is definitely, she thought she was coming just to present some prizes, but no, we want to recognize you as well. It is such a wonderful joy to be able to work with Bonsall Women's Club, and over the last now 4 years to see what you do for the community is amazing. This is a powerhouse group of women in our community. And I would say since I think the 1970s, we've had a strong partnership with Bonsall Unified School District. And really the purpose of Bonsall Women's Club, if you're not aware of what they do, and it was great because we had Olivia Haro, our Bonsall Teachers Association representative that day. She came and she looked around the room and she saw this entire room filled with Bonsall Women's Club members, and she said, "Oh, I don't know if I realized how extensive this group is." They really focus on volunteer activities that serve our community and our country. They place special emphasis on really promoting civic interest in helping our youth, our needy, and our elderly. And this incredible group of women they're exclusively dedicated to charitable and educational purposes, which is beautiful. They really do a tremendous amount to support our schools. Just last week, with perfect timing for staff appreciation, I can announce this, right? we had Olivia Haro come as a representative from Bonsall Teachers, and they have generously donated so that every teacher in Bonsall Unified will receive $50 for any supplies or classroom needs that they have. And in the past, they have donated for elementary teachers, and they've now branched out and said every teacher in our district will receive $50. And that received, I think, a huge round of applause. And as you know, we've just had our 3rd annual Stages of Inspiration art show. And it was 3 years ago that Patty Miriam came to our district office and said, I have this idea. I would love to partner Bonsall Women's Club and BUSD to have an art show that really showcases all of the community. So we've got Bonsall Women's Club members who are really amazing artists and our students across the district, and it has grown. We had, I think, almost 400 submissions this year, and that was our students from across the district and also Bonsall Women's Club members. The show was on April 30th. It was wonderful. We showcased dancing and music and also the beautiful art. And this year, and I love how it just keeps getting bigger and better, they instituted a student jury who then evaluated all of the work, and they were the ones who selected the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place prize in all of the categories. And they had a wonderful time, I think, really understanding more about art and selecting. On top of that, all attendees had the opportunity to vote on Community Choice Awards. And they partnered with, well, I know they partnered with Nessie Burgers for lots of great prizes, and Fallbrook School of the Arts to assign a Best in Show, and those were 2 Purple Ribbon winners. So it really is a fantastic partnership. There's so much they do for our schools. We're so appreciative. So first, we want to give you a certificate of recognition for being an exemplary community partner. Well, it's very well deserved. And this is how we get to marry our recognition of community partner with student recognition. So what we have done is we have invited our students, because the night of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place students, they were given their prizes that night. But the Community Choice Awards, we had to tally all of those votes, and we've invited those very deserving recipients to our board meeting tonight for recognition. And President Anderson, who was the chair, I believe, of the Art Show Committee this year and worked so closely with Patty and everyone else to facilitate this, is going to help and give those prizes out. And I do want to recognize specifically Melissa Ledry and Anna McGuire and Sergio Guzman and Rayon DuPont for their really wonderful work in helping to organize all of the student submissions. Big round of applause for them. And our principals and our music and dance teachers. We had Cassie Costa and Emma Jady, and we also had Brenda Gutierrez and Alexa Santos, and Caroline Sanchez Carcamo, and our Ballet Folklorico. There were so many wonderful staff members as well. So thank you so much. Now I'm going to turn it over. Yes. And our administrators for helping. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to turn it over now for student recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So if I can have all of the, I'm going to call up the names. Preston Gerard, that's our TK1 community choice for Cat in the Hat. Gabriela Rodriguez for Golden Dreams, Building the Best Classroom. Should be in order. Riley Roth, the floating cow. Brooklyn Mack, the coyote portrait. Melody B, Endless Granny Square Crochet Cat Blanket. Addison Fish, Turtle in the Sea. Analia Morales, The Koi Pond. Carter Rankin, Lake. And Jaylene Zolo for Tunnel Vision. And then Miley Hale for Wildflower Cube. So these are our Community Choice Award winners. There were 30 awards also given at the Night of the Art Show. And if you are an elementary school student, be sure to actually take your artwork home. So one more big round of applause for everybody.
And you got to go from an angle. Excellent. Okay, smile. You guys are so talented. Yes. Thank you.
And also, I just wanted to recognize that we had 2 special awards from the Fallbrook School of the Arts. Are either Izzy Hale here? Not Izzy. Izzy Aston, sorry. And then Miley Hale was also the secondary recipient of the Fallbrook School of the Arts. So.
Great job. And again, thank you so much. We've got one more recognition, very, very special. Everyone who's attended our board meetings this year knows that we have been very fortunate to have 2 wonderful representatives from Bonsall High School as our student board members this year. And this is their last board meeting, and it's just amazing because that was you in August. Look. That was you in August when you were sworn in, very, very exciting, and now all of a sudden it's the end of the year. So we want to recognize you. You truly have been wonderful representatives. Come on up here, please, both of you. Excellent. So both Eiley and Nani have been professional, poised, prepared. Do you like my alliteration? They consistently ensure that they are providing us with excellent reports, and you really have been stellar models, and we really appreciate it because that's not always the case, that we have students that are just everywhere you go, absolutely representing us beautifully. And I know since you're seniors and you're graduating and you're off onto whatever wonderful adventures you're going to have, we know you're going to continue to make us proud everywhere you go. And we're really, really appreciative. It's been a wonderful year with you. thank you for everything that you've done and the ways that you've informed us and the community of all of the amazing things that are happening here in Bonsall. So thank you. So Eiley. Yes. Yes, we're going to have before and after for sure, because what we typically will do right now is we'll take a brief recess. Everybody that is here during the recess will have photo opportunities. I'll put it back because you're going to get that photo right there. We can have some photo opportunities with the board. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at the beautiful artwork, and remember, elementary school students are going to take the artwork home, and then what will come back when President Anderson tells us the recess will be over.
It is 7:09. Just a reminder, if you are a Sullivan's or a Bonsall High School student, leave your artwork here, please. The art teachers have requested to utilize that for future purposes. And we will adjourn for recess. It's 7:10 right now. We will reconvene at 7:15. was very silly, so that was cute. All right, I thought we could have a break in 5 minutes. It's already been 8, and we're gonna regroup, so. Thank you again for everyone being here. Appreciate your participation. And for those who want to stay for the rest of the meeting, we have lots of agenda items to get through as well. So thank you again. That brings us to our group reports. We have, what's our first presentation today? Okay, so nobody here from any of our teacher organizations. So then we have our labor reports. So none of our parent organizations. We do have our teacher organizations. However, Ms. Jen Ariano, why don't you come on up for Bonsall Teachers Association.
I think this is my favorite board meeting. It makes me feel like the family that we really are. You know, I think there's a lot of love in this district and a lot of good intentions, and it really comes through on nights when we celebrate our own. And I just appreciate the time that you guys do to do that. And I want to appreciate some people as well. First of all of our teachers of the year, I know them all, and they're all really, really deserving. And it's very exciting to have been able to see them in action. Adina with her little ones during, like, they do this whole thing with the train and Coco, and it's very magical. And Katie Spencer is the reason why I'm in teaching, because we're at Bait and Nuts Farm. She's like, oh yeah, that's how they get you as a parent. They say, come sub, and the next thing you know, you're teaching. And I was like, wow, it's like magic. And Listine I've had the privilege of being on her team and teaching 4th grade with her, and I know what a powerhouse she is, and so important to her students. And Monica is, you know, a big loss because she's graduating. No, she's retiring. But you know, she's always been there, like the quiet strength, and was out there helping us get several board members elected. Always could count on her. And Greg, you know, I spot talent. You know, I used to be in film business and direct movies and stuff. And when I walked into a big classroom getting my single subject English credential, I looked around of all the teachers, are about, 40, and I found Greg. And I sat next to him and I said, yeah, let's do all the projects together. And we did, didn't we, Greg? Yes, we did. And they were amazing. We couldn't wait to get out there and start teaching our students. And then on the first day of new teacher, I looked across the room in the NPR, and there was Greg. We both had landed in Bonsall. And then I had the privilege of teaching 9th grade with him. And so I can verify by personal witness that they are all very deserving. And so I'm so grateful that all of these teachers are here representing us. They're absolutely the best. It is such a privilege to work with them. So that's pretty much all I have to say tonight, okay? The State of the Union is strong. No, okay. Have a good night, thank you. And to our board members, I just want to say, Nani and Illy, you guys have been amazing. Also, Nani is starring in the musical that's opening here next week, and she is a wonder. Wait till you hear her sing. Amazing. Thank you.
Ms. Starkweather, CSCA, Chapter 703. Good to see you.
Good evening, board members, Ms. Gina, and Dr. Golly. Good to see you all. It's been a while. Just want to say our main concern is CSCA right now is our members out at Vivian Banks. We want to make sure that they're being taken care of, being informed of what the steps are, because they do care about it, and they want to make sure that they're taken care of too. We've had some negotiations recently. Some really good things you're going to vote on today is the stipend for our bilingual people that want to interpret and translate IEPs. That will hopefully take away the contracting out, which is $70 an hour for a minimum of 2 hours. You're going to pay our staff $40 for interpreting one IEP and $70 for translating per IEP. So I think that's very nice and generous of you. And then also the employee at Bonsall Elementary is looking forward to her new position. So we do thank you guys for approving that tonight also. But I think we're on the countdown of having 21 days of school left. So Eiley and Nani, it's been a pleasure seeing you. It's a pleasure seeing you at school every day. You guys definitely represent the school and everything. And I do want to take a brief moment. This is his last board meeting as CSCA president and his office manager. I want to say thank you for the time you've been with us, and we truly appreciate everything you have done for Bonsall High School. So that's all I have to say. Congratulations to you graduating, and look forward to next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot something. I want to say thank you. BTA wants to say thank you, and we are officially saying thank you to the Bonsall Women's Club for your generosity. It's really amazing. I can't tell you how many teachers, when I let it leak that this was happening, were just blown away, and we are working on some thank you for you. Thank you very much. It's very meaningful.
Thank you. And now we're at our school site reports, and our first presentation of the evening is Ms. Angie James.
All right. Okay. All right, good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Ghali, and Mrs. McInerney. Today, I'm honored to be here to share some exciting and meaningful things happening at Sullivan Middle School. If you take a look at this, this will be a preview of what we're going to be talking about. And I should say Dr. Ghali hit many of these points. I could say ditto, 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 right? But if you take a look, I just highlight a few things. In the upper corner, you can see where we had Pie Day. I think I left off there. The students who won got to pie myself, Mrs. Janikowski, and Mr. Prechtel. They were good sports about it, and I did not cover my hair or face enough, so it was for the rest of the day. That it was very sticky, but it's all good. The kids had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And in the lower part, you can see where we have sixth grade camp that is currently happening. They're very excited to be up there. It was cold at first, but I think tomorrow it's supposed to be almost 90, so they should be well on their way for hiking over there. So what I'd like to start out with is our mural and land acknowledgement that we had. And I know we've heard a little bit about it from Dr. Ghali. I know that Mr. Smuts will be following up, but this was a very powerful presentation and something that's been in the works for a year. But one of the ways that we brought this acknowledgement to life is through our Native American Mural Project, which is a collective effort between students, Dr. Tipiconic, who's a professor at Cal State San Marcos, and tribal representatives. This mural is not only a powerful visual tribute to the Native heritage and culture, but also a daily reminder to our students of the rich history that surrounds them. This is just one example of the work and partnership that we have developed with the Paula Band of Mission Indians. And thank you, Mr. Ortega, for being such an instrumental part in the efforts and the work. It truly was a special night. This year, we've also embraced the Bonsall Forward Initiative. This is aligning our efforts to prepare students for the future through innovation, equity, and community partnerships. Whether it's through academic rigor or inclusive practices, we're proud to be a part of a district pushing forward in thoughtful and student-centered ways. Sullivan's 7th grade students visited 5 different locations. They participated in various activities such as dissection of squids, you can see in the upper corner, casting Mrs. Gressbrink's arm, and then each other's arms, right? And then x-raying plastic models, and then they wanted to x-ray their cell phones. So of course they let them do that because that was the most important thing they wanted to do for the day, right? So they had a great experience, and we were one of the only schools that were able to actually, because of Ms. Gressbrink's connections, go to the UCSD medical for the radiology, orthopedics, and physical therapy. So the students had a really good time. And one of the highlights for this spring was Career Day, which connected students with professionals from a wide variety of fields, from engineers, chefs, to firefighters and digital media specialists. Our students were exposed to real-world possibilities and left inspired to dream and think boldly about their futures. If you take a look, we've had 19 presenters from parents, community members, and former students that have written a book, and he came and presented, and he had so much fun. He wants to come back and actually read for the elementary, so we definitely invited him. He's going to hand out some free books, so elementary principals and teachers, we're going to send him your way. We also had, our students also had the opportunity to showcase their creativity at the BUSD and Bonsall Women's Club Art Show. Their artwork reflected talent, emotion, and diverse perspectives, and several students were recognized for their outstanding pieces. We're grateful for the partnership and continued support of the Bonsall Women's Club and BUSD in elevating student voices through the arts. I would like to give a shout out to Miss Larissa Anderson and Patty Miram for helping to organize this year's event. Melissa Ledry, also, who turned our MPR into a magical art gallery to showcase all of the beautiful artwork, and Anna McGuire, who helped the team organize the student judges and art pieces. Also, I know we heard a lot this evening about our North Coast Church, but this has truly been an endeavor, and it's not, I think we started this back in October. And we've continued. It was the full weekend. They're coming back this weekend, and they're coming back next weekend. Dr. Golly said I am not allowed to come on campus. No, I'm just kidding. So, but we have organized, and I am gonna come up and take a peek. I just can't help myself. So each of these, as far as the North Coast Church, the recent beautifications of our campus was made possible in large part thanks to the generous support of North Coast Church. Their volunteers gave their time, energy, and materials to help us paint classrooms, remodel our staff room, and bring the mural to life in our front office. Their partnership has truly transformed spaces across our campus. And I want to offer a heartfelt thank you to them for their incredible service and community spirit. I also want to give a special shout out to Billy Walker, who has been in charge of his undertaking, and he probably has spent more time in our school office than he ever thought he would as an adult, right? Probably as a child too. But he has been truly amazing, and it wouldn't have been possible without his collaboration and communication. Thank you again, North Coast Church. You've helped create spaces where our Wildcats can feel like they truly belong. And this is the final. So as you saw the paintings before, please come up and take a look, but I wanted to take pictures. I was in the office and Linda said, let me clean the desk real quick. So we took pictures of the front office, and you can see the final, what the mural looks like just in the front office. And then next week we'll have the unveiling of the staff lounge. We're celebrating Teacher Appreciation next week because we have the 6th grade teachers, some of them that are camp this week. So I will make sure that I post. So be on the lookout next week for pictures of our staff lounge. All right, I want to just cover briefly. I'm pretty proud, and I just want to highlight our school counselor and our school psychologists for all of the work that they do, the social, emotional, and just supporting our students academically. So I asked both of them to keep count for the year of how many times they've made parent contacts, how many parent meetings, we call them triad meetings, as far as what they're organizing, all the events, all the things that they do, right? Which this is just a snapshot. I can't even encompass everything that they're doing, but they provide district student support through personal counseling, group counseling, and immediate crisis intervention and risk assessments. These services are essential in creating a safe and supportive environment where students feel seen and heard. They have restorative conversations, check in and check out, and on the academic side, each position play a key role in ensuring student success through student study teams and triad meetings. In addition to these responsive services, our counselor and school psychologists are involved in school-wide leadership and planning. They contribute to leadership teams, Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams. So if you take a look at this is actually our school psychologist. They both help organize our boot camp, which is our culture piece, inviting new students and parents. They have student enrichment programs, which help incoming students feel welcomed and prepared for middle school life, and our students gain access to trusted adult relationships. And lastly, I'd like to highlight we celebrated Monica, Ms. Powell, earlier, but she also has the, what I'd like to highlight is an opportunity that we have for our students, which is Tech Trek. It's a program sponsored by the American Association of University Women, AAUW. Tech Trek is a week-long STEM summer camp designed specifically for raising our rising 8th grade girls who show interest and promise in science, technology, engineering, and math. The program is held on university campuses and gives student hands-on experience in real-world STEM environments. It includes lab experiments, coding workshops, and engineering challenges and field trips, all led by women professionals and college students in STEM. It is not just about skill building, it's about empowerment. Students come away from Tech Trek with a stronger sense of confidence, career ambition, and clearer picture of what's possible for their futures. At Sullivan Middle School, we're proud to support students through the nomination and selection process, working closely with AAUW to ensure equity and access. This year, we have had 7 students selected, and last year we had 5. An achievement that reflects both their potential and our school's commitment to supporting young women in STEM. So we are very grateful to the AAUW and the local chapter for this life-changing experience possible, and our staff who has helped, Monica Powell, and mentor these students along the way. So I just wanted to highlight the work that she's been doing, and she's going to be missed. But again, the students are very proud of themselves, and that's really a tribute to what Monica has been doing over many years. I'm not going to read everything for this week and upcoming because it includes all the 8th grade things, but I do want to highlight we have our 8th grade students going to Palomar because we want to get them prepared for going to high school and the Bonsall High School program. So they do have one last field trip. We're going to push it to the end of the year on May 29th. So where they'll take the trip to Palomar so they can see what's in store for them when they attend the high school. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I believe it's Bonsall High School, Principal Smuts.
It's my last board meeting. She had to do it one more time. One more time. All right. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Ghali, Ms. Gina, and Bonsall community. I'm honored to share the most recent highlights from Bonsall High School, a school community that truly lives out our district theme of belong, believe, and achieve. This week, we hosted the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, or WASC, for our accreditation visit. It was an energizing and affirming experience. The visit was the culmination of a deep and collaborative year-long process in which our team developed a comprehensive self-study report. Over the course of the 24-25 school year, staff analyzed all aspects of Bonsall High School, bringing together the voices of certificated and classified staff, students, parents, district leadership, and site administration to reflect honestly on our strengths, challenges, and path forward. The visiting committee spent 3 days on campus validating the report this week, observing classrooms and speaking with students, staff, and parents. They praised the strong professional relationships between staff and students and described BHS as a small public school with a private school feel. They noted the accessibility of teachers, the quality of instruction, and the rigorous academic pathways, including our early college program. Our students shared that they feel supported, known, and encouraged, proof that they belong. They believe in their own academic potential and the structures we've built, like AP Access, CTE opportunities, and personalized support that they help them achieve. Staff and students alike emphasized the sense of family, and the committee affirmed that our mission, learner profile, and instructional focus are well aligned with district priorities. This visit confirmed that Bonsall High School is on the right path, and we look forward to receiving a positive accreditation result. Recent events, the images should look a little familiar. At this point, we've talked about a number of them, but I did want to mention them. Our students have had a strong presence on campus and in the community over the past few weeks through events that celebrate voice, creativity, and academic excellence. On April 23rd, we had our mural unveiling and celebration. This was an amazing celebration of culture and community, which truly represented how impactful this project has been. On April 30th, the Stages of Inspiration Art Show Held in partnership with the Bonsall Women's Club, this event highlighted student talent and visual storytelling through a variety of media. It was another great community building event. In addition, this week, AP testing began. On May 6th, our AP government students took their test. May 8th, this morning, our sophomores took their first AP test in world history. It was fun to greet them on their way out, asked them how it felt, and they just said we didn't want to talk about it. But it's their first test, and I'm sure they did well, and I know that they've been prepared very well. And then tomorrow, AP US History. These tests mark the culmination of year-long rigor and preparation, and they show our students' readiness for post-secondary learning. Upcoming events. We're excited for a number of important and joyful milestones ahead, many of which are open to the broader community. On May 10th, not open to the broader community, we have our prom. Meet me at the Bayou. It's held at the California Center for the Arts in Escondido, and this event will be a magical event for our juniors and seniors. On the same day, the Bonsall Athletics Golf Classic, community members are gathering for our second annual tournament to support Bonsall High School and Sullivan Middle School athletics. May 14th through the 17th, we have our spring musical, Ride the Cyclone. It's already been mentioned this evening. Performances at the Bonsall Community Center, right here, with evening and matinee shows. Just so everybody knows, tickets are tax deductible and discounted for students, staff, and first responders, so please be sure to join us. Okay. On May 20th, we have our English learner reclassification ceremony, honoring students who achieved English proficiency. I think it's even more important to note that this milestone also celebrates their bilingualism. It's really fun to sit in as a principal in the reclassification meetings and every time say, you know what, you are now twice as smart as me because you have 2 languages and I have only 1. And so it is quite a celebration. On May 29th, we've got our senior awards night, and on the 29th and 30th, we already have senior finals. The 30th, we have Grad Bash at the Universal Studios, and June 3rd through 6th is finals week, culminating in June 6th, our graduation ceremony. It's a celebration of students who have grown, believed in themselves, and are now ready to achieve their next goals. In closing, I want to thank our staff, families, district leadership, and board for supporting a school where students are seen, challenged, and celebrated. We are proud of where we are and inspired by where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you. And Principal Calabrese, Bonsall Virtual Academy.
Hello, good evening, board, Dr. Golly, as well as our wonderful audience. Our final time with Eiley and Nani. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. Really appreciate it. A lot of things happening. I know we're this teeny tiny little school, but we always seem to have a lot of things happening. I wanted to recognize Mr. Jonathan Castellanos. He does an amazing job down here. I as well acknowledge that what Mr. Alan Williams said, and that he is always willing with a smile. He's always willing to come down, help us out with our water issues and things like that. So he is amazing, and we just wanted to make sure we honored him here. We've had a lot of different field trip events. We've had a beach cleanup over at Oceanside Harbor. Something that I want to say about our field trips, we always seem to get the best weather. So the day of this field trip, it was pouring rain, and everybody was like, are we still going on this field trip? And we went on that field trip, and I will tell you what, you can see the pictures show for themselves. We had a beautiful weather, and it was fantastic. The beach was really clean. So I had little pickers for everybody, and there was not a lot of trash on the beach. So Oceanside Harbor is doing a great job. But the kids were so dedicated to trying to pick up trash. And as you can see, we went with our ATP program, and it was fantastic. This was our first field trip with our students who are wheelchair bound. And you can see Mr. Willie's face in the corner right there, in the corner right-hand corner. Look at his sweet little face. He's just so happy to be there. And our paraprofessionals went with us too, and they were dancing with him, and he was making all his happy sounds, and it was just such a heartwarming feeling. In the center, we had another new family join us, and this is a family who is distance learning because they had to move at the end of the year. and they were able to get a transfer and still stay with us. So I'm proud to say that our reputation is growing and people are wanting to stay with us in our district, even just a little bit longer with the virtual academy. I'm trying to think. Yep, that's right. All right, student spotlights. So a couple of my adorable kids. That was another field trip down below in the bottom left-hand corner. The students went to Palomar Planetarium this week, and they got to blast off to space. And apparently it was an amazing field trip. I did not get to go on this one. It was a little bit sad, but we had a lot of IAP meetings that I was supporting. They got to, I guess, see Palomar College down in the bottom as well. They blasted off to space, so it's supposed to be really cool. Our students this year, this is, I think, amazing stats, have enrolled in a total of 443 classes this year. The pass rate's not quite what I want for all the students, 84.5% pass rate as of the other day. I'm hoping to get that to 100% by the end of the year, but we have some friends that have some senioritis and junioritis and sophomoritis and 8th grade-itis. They'll get there though. 8 out of 9 of our seniors are on track for graduation. Again, I know we'll get that up to 9 out of 9. Our graduation status meetings were completed for 100% of our high school students. So we meet with every 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade student to make sure that parents as well as students know exactly what's required for graduation, how many community service hours they need, and how we can try to accelerate their pathway. Oftentimes the students that will join us that are in high school don't always have all their classes ready to go and they're not on track. I'm proud to say that we are able to get them accelerated again and back on track for the most part. Again, you can see that pass rate at the top that I'm not as proud of, but it'll get there. Our elementary students are enrolled in a total of 75 classes a semester with a 91% pass rate. And our middle school students are enrolled in a total of 78 classes with an 85% pass rate. Again, this is just as of this week. So again, we're shooting for 100%. I'm always positive. On this slide, you can see our friends coming for their Friday specials, and they really have developed such a friendship. It's really sweet to see. They get so excited. Again, it's that family feel. It's that one-room schoolhouse feel, and so all the kids know everybody, and the high schoolers are so sweet to, you know, interact and play with the kids when they're there. We've got some farm photos there as well. These 2 photos down over to the left-hand side of the artwork, those are done by our ATP students. And look at that artwork. That is amazing. That's incredible. This week, Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, I like to spoil people. And so we did have a little bit of spoiling going on this week. We had customized shirts made. That was Monday's gift. We had a yummy cinnamon roll, another yummy day of muffins. This lady in the center here in the boardroom, I had a masseuse come in. And so we had a masseuse that came in and gave 18-minute massages. Interesting thing about this, right? I only booked it for all the staff members, gave her the money. And she's like, I get to work on you too, right? I'm like, I didn't pay you for that. So I did pay her a little extra. I'm not terrible. But it was the most amazing massage. I drove to Orange County after that massage. I had never felt so relaxed. It was only 18 minutes. I don't know what she did. But this morning, Angela Leonardo was like, look, I can move my neck. She was fantastic. If you want her name, I'll give it to you. She's actually one of our parents who happens to be a masseuse, but she also was trying to get business. I'm like, hey, would you come and do this? And so she did. I've always wanted to do that for my staff members, but when I had a bigger staff, it was not as feasible. Also a little plant that came today, and then a personalized card will come tomorrow. Miss Jen, you'll have to wait for it, along with a candy bar. But I like to incorporate a lot of different people. Oh, and I forgot about lunch. There was also a special pizza lunch from Village Pizza too. So some spotlights. I wanted to focus on our high school students. We've had the 9 high school students that are enrolled in the program for the total of 42 classes, and 8 of 9, like I said, on track to graduate with passing grades. One of our high school seniors has already completed their coursework early. So that's another one of those beauties about our virtual program, is that students can accelerate and decelerate based on where they're at. One of our sophomores has already accelerated her pace to such a rate that she's on track to graduate early. So I know that's ADA and everything. I know you want to keep as much money, but how do you slow them down, right? When they're that excited to keep going and keep going and keep going. 6 out of 29 of our high school students are taking 7 or more classes and not the typical 6. Again, something that's very possible when you're in a virtual academy. One of our seniors is enrolled in 9 classes. So just to give you kind of a picture of what senior year typically looks like, Eiley, Nani, you can kind of verify and vouch for this. It's usually about 4 or 5 classes a semester, right? Not 9 classes your spring semester or senior year. But the student is doing it, and 3 of our seniors have already taken college level classes. So our school works for some students, right? For some students, they haven't found a place where they belong, right? But they feel like they belong here. And a lot of our families, that lady that was on the slide a couple slides ago, I found out a little feedback from one of our staff members. She said she talked to her the whole time, and this mom loves the program for her daughter. Her daughter was not being successful at the typical school, and she's now successful. Attendance in-person data. So we do have a hybrid program, so students are able to come in person and get support. I found this kind of curious. We had 599.5 hours from March 19th to March 4th, and then March 5th to March 7th, only 502 hours. We have had a decrease with the number of students coming in. I do have one student, my good friend, who comes in every single day and does his work. And some students come in sporadically, but it's been really fun to work with the different kids. I've had to really push myself. I was not a high school teacher. I was definitely not a middle school teacher. I was a 1st and 2nd grade teacher, along with kindergarten. And so when I'm having to answer questions about senior level work, it's a bit of a challenge. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's good. It's good for the brain. The other pictures that you see in this photo, again, some more of the beach cleanup. That was a couple of our staff members as they were enjoying lunch. And I just included this photo just because we had so many kids that are coming to our specials on Friday. That's where we do music, library, dance, and farm. And they all, like I said, love having the pizza lunch from the school cafeteria, which is every Friday. Again, we've had 79 students this far this year and 57 currently enrolled. So 79 students, just to give you a little bit of a picture. Last year, we ended the year with 55. So the fact that we've served already 79, we are continuing to grow. We currently have about 45 students that are on track to join us at the start of the year, which is again up from 33 at the start of this year. So every year that reputation is getting out there. I have a couple of students from Carlsbad, one student who's been with us, his sister, who's going to be a high school sophomore or freshman next year, is coming to join us. So we got some money from Carlsbad, which is kind of exciting. Our students who are struggling, they receive those daily and weekly updates. So I have a lot of families on speed dial, meaning that every time they're not getting their work done, I'm texting or I'm calling. And I will say some of the families that have not historically been very responsive, they always pick up the phone and they always respond to my text message. And so we have been able to get 24 of our 27 students who are test takers in for testing. This right here is Ms. Bruninger doing a little test prep before we get started. And now a little ATP update. So these are a couple of my good friends. They go every other month, or every other week, excuse me, to the Vista Library, and they get enrichment opportunities. They get an opportunity to interact with other students who are also in that ATP program age, and so they get to have a chance to interact with kids from other districts. And what's really cool is, I love Mr. Quinn. Mr. Quinn is getting them some shopping experience. So the kids all bring some money and they go to the Dollar Tree and they have to shop within a budget. So they're getting a lot of real life experiences, which is awesome. And we've already had some transition meetings that are occurring for students coming from the high school. And I have to say, loving the new kids that are coming up from the high school. They are so sweet. All right, some upcoming dates. There's Mr. Chris. He got to jump in on the pizza lunch and he's gotten to join in on, I just kind of keep, I had 1.6 staff members. I had to keep growing it. It's like, come on, who else can I join in? And then again, a photo from our beach trip. But we have, like I said, the students that have already done the testing. We still have some more. We're going out to Vivian Banks as well as Bonsall West so we can test some kids in their resident school, so it's not as much of a difficult time for them. And a couple of things that are coming up. The art day, we've got a high school senior celebration, end of the year awards, and end of semester. And this has been a very, very fast year. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting me share, as always. And, come on down and visit us sometime. Fridays are usually kind of our busier days. Not tomorrow, though. I'm going to Vivian Banks to test some students. So again, thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you. And that brings us to our board member reports, starting with our student trustees.
Good evening, fellow board members, Superintendent Dr. Gawley, Ms. McInerney, and community members. So as we move closer to the end of the school year, it seems that nobody can help counting down the days. We have a variety of activities coming up for all of our students, especially the seniors, some of which we will hear from my fellow liaison, Eiley, including but not limited to grad night, prom, soca teacher, and graduation. Earlier this month, VHS's Red Cross Club hosted their second blood drive of the year, where they collected 22 blood donations, which can help to save up to 66 lives, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And as we've heard just this week, many of our students have begun taking their AP tests, final exams that if they do well on, they could receive college credit, which is fantastic. And so hopefully the hard work of our sophomores, juniors, and seniors will pay off, and we will see great results from these final tests. And next week, as we've heard, BHS's theater company will be staging their spring musical, Ride the Cyclone, next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here in the community center. As you can see, we have some wonderful equipment and props, and it's going to be a real exciting time. And so less than a month from now, our seniors will walk across the stage and graduate, taking their first official steps into adulthood. Every senior has had to work hard to reach the graduation milestone. And in addition to our commencement ceremony, our senior class council has a variety of events planned for the final few weeks of school, including senior sunset, senior brunch, senior field day, senior craft day, where seniors will get a chance to decorate their graduation caps and celebrate the very special years that they've spent with their peers. And so lastly, for our final shout out, I would like to point out the wonderful contributions of my fellow student board member, Eiley. At the beginning of the school year, both Eiley and I were a bit unsure of our role as student board members and how we could properly represent our school. Working with Eiley this year has been very much a pleasure. She's always collaborative, kind, and an effective communicator. And what I admire most about her is her positive attitude. In all honesty, board meetings can be a bit boring at times, but looking over to see her at my side would never fail to make me smile. And so being one of the student board members this year has been a very enlightening experience. The knowledge I feel like I've gained about how our school district works and how everyone tries to do their best in service of Bonsall Unified students here. It sometimes is easy to discount the work that everyone tries to do here when you're looking from afar, but being here even just once a month gives me hope that this community can and will thrive very long after the both of us are gone. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here. So thank you, everybody, and we hope that we can count on your continued support for our school district.
Good evening, distinguished board members, Superintendent Dr. Gawley, Miss Gina, and audience. Today, Nani and I give our last reports about our beloved school, Bonsall High School. To finish off the class of 2025's year, we will all be celebrating with our prom this weekend. The theme is Meet Me at the Bayou, and we are excited to see everyone dressed their best and having a great time. We have Soca Teacher this Friday, where students can buy different strengths of water to barrel at their favorite teachers. ASB still has more to come for seniors, as Nani mentioned, in their final month, so we eagerly await more information. Our sports have wrapped up this month too. Cheer held a sleepover to commemorate the year and bond one last time as a team. I am incredibly grateful that we were able to have a cheer team this year, and I hope that it will continue on in years to come. Track and field's final meet is today, and we have had many people qualify for league finals. Softball and boys baseball will wrap up shortly too. Altogether, it's been a great year for sports at Bonsall High School. There are currently interest meetings for volleyball next year, so we will see a good turnout. I'd like to focus on what's to come in the following year. We as seniors have been really lucky to be filled in on BHS's plans for the future. Although I wish I had been able to experience it myself, I'm so glad that next year's incoming and returning students are going to have the opportunity they will. We have been presented BHS's academies here before, and it's possible thanks to Mrs. Aaron, Mr. Van, and Mr. Hinchliff, our Bonsall District Teacher of the Year. It is incredible to help students be the most prepared they can be for life outside of high school. To me, it is something that would have typically be seen in a private school that students have the privilege of having in a public school. I can speak from experience that I know we might have students that struggle financially, and to be able to have this opportunity for no cost is just truly one of the best things we could have done. I'd also like to mention Principal Smuts. I'm extremely grateful for everything he has done for us and for me personally as well. He's always there in the morning to compliment my driving and greet me with a smile. I'm sad to see him go, but students will always recall our time with him. I'm also glad that early college will continue. For a smaller school like us, I think it's just incredible that we have such a program available and for no extra cost. Like I said, I'm really glad that Bonsall is still working so hard, if not even harder, to make an amazing environment for students. And I'd like to give a little personal anecdote. I've only been with the Bonsall Unified School District for 2 years. It has been honestly a roller coaster. This year, I was pretty chronically ill and probably out of school for a total of 2 months altogether. Thankfully, I've been able to do an independent study contract to make up for lost time, but I definitely still had some question within myself as to whether or not I was able to overcome my challenges. Every month, coming to these meetings has really helped me find it within myself to keep working my hardest. The members of the Bonsall Unified School District Board, Superintendent Dr. Golly, Miss Gina, and all of the staff at Bonsall have been so incredibly supportive and kind to both Nani and I. It is such a privilege to be not only one but two board members, and I'd like to give a personal shout out to my fellow liaison, Nani Uswa. Not only is she the other liaison of the Bonsall Unified School District, but also BHS's valedictorian. She is the student president of our theater club, president of the Red Cross Club, choreographer for the cheer team, a valued mock trial member, a valued ASB member, and that's not even the extended list, I'm sure. She's truly an incredible individual, talented in so many departments. She's been so helpful and kind to me throughout our time together on the board and is a true representation of a hard worker. She is an inspiration to everyone, staff or student. Thank you, Nani, for everything you've done for our school and for being such a wonderful person. I'd also like to again thank the board, Ms. Gina, and Superintendent Dr. Golly for our time here at the board. It has been an incredible experience, and I'm glad that students are able to partake in something like this. I can't believe the year has gone by this fast. Thank you to the community of Bonsall, too, for supporting our staff and students. Thank you.
Okay, board members, we're going to have a little tough act to follow. And Nani, you have something else to add?
Just one more thing. I think both me and Eiley would want to thank Commander Joe for being at every single meeting and for always being so positive and for having wonderful things to say.
Thank you so much, Commander Joe. For sure.
Thank you again, board members. Go ahead, Mr. Ortega.
You're right. That's a hard act to follow. Well, I know we had a lot of good things going on tonight, and one thing I wanted something to add in about North Coast Church. You know, they helped us out with our farm when it first went up. And I spend a lot of time in Fallbrook. I see friends down there, I have a lot of friends there, so I go to visit here, I go to different events. I'm part of the Lions Club in Palma, and one of our Lions Club members started the Lions Club in Fallbrook, just got recognized about a month ago. And so we've helped out a lot with that, and every time I go down there, I run into somebody that was a part of that project over at the farm. And they'll ask me, do the kids like it? Is it nice? And I go, it's really nice. You should go and see it. And they go, well, you know, I don't really have time to go over there and look at it. But, you know, there was so many people helping out over there that it seems like every time I come into Fallbrook, I run into somebody new that was helping out with that project. Or once they learn I'm on the school board, they want to tell me, you know, what they did. One of them was putting together the whatchamacallit, bins, and the other one was actually planting things, and yeah, there was so many people helping out. So there was a lot of good things there, and it's just awesome what you can do when you have manpower, you know, and manpower that can do a lot of good things. I also want to say about the mural, you know, there's only so much I can add to the mural. One thing that was brought up was how much I did to help out with the mural. And when Mr. A reached out to me and some other people reached out to me, I gave them phone numbers, I gave them contacts, and the project got done. You know, so I was telling people for a period of time there, I really didn't have much to do with the mural. But then somebody pointed out to me that me, along with my colleagues here on the board, is that any one of us could have tried to stop it. And I go, well, I don't think any of us would have. They go, that's why it happened, though. It happened because nobody stopped it. And so I want to applaud our board members here for that mural because, well, we didn't stop it, you know, and for us, that's a feather in our cap, because if we didn't want it, we could have stopped it. And so I guess in that sense, we did help out with the mural. So I just want to let everybody know that this project here was supported by everybody, you know, and so there's a lot of good things there. The people that were recognized tonight, I know several of them. Mrs. Emerson over at Vivian Banks, there was one time when the language teacher, Copeño language teacher, was supposed to be there to help with the presentation. We had a group come in from the San Diego County Office of Education, and they were going to do a presentation. And the teacher wasn't there, so Mrs. Emerson stepped in and actually guided the students in teaching and in sharing the Copeño language with in front of everybody as far as the presentation. And I applaud her for stepping up from that situation, because anybody could have said, hey, I don't know what that is, you know, we're just gonna have to cancel. But she didn't want to do that. She actually stepped in. So, and not only that, but I guess when they're having the classes, she's actually paying attention too, because she actually knew some stuff there too. So that was really cool about Miss Emerson. But that's how Miss Emerson is, and that's why she was doing a great job for us out there. And well, Monica Powell, you know, believe it or not, I went to school with Monica Powell. We went to high school together. I'm older than her, a little bit older than her, but I went to school with her brother, and so I did know who she was. And I won't say what year that is, because that's not fair to do to a woman, tell her age, but she is younger than me. Okay. And so, yeah, Monica, I've known Monica a long time. Although I didn't recognize her when I first met her at the campus, she asked me, Mr. Ortega, don't you remember me? And I go, no, I don't. Then she told me her name, and I was like, oh, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do remember you. But yeah, it took, you know, her name has changed now. It's different than what it was in high school. And Crystal Dents, you guys may not know this, or maybe some of you do that know her closely, but she was working in Tucson there for a while. And she worked with some of my family out there in Tucson. And so I didn't really know her, but my family, oh, she's working there now. She used to work here and do this and this. And so, yeah, she worked at the casino where I worked at. And so over there in Arizona. So, yeah, Crystal Dents, and I've, you know, because of that, through my family and stuff like that, I've heard a lot of good things about her, knowing that she's doing a great job. She's an incredible lady and deserving of all the awards. And of course, there's Jackie. I always get Jackie's name wrong, so I'm not going to try to say her last name because I always get it wrong. I've known her for so many years before she was Jackie Withers, and so I tend to call her Jackie Boisclair and stuff, and then I get corrected, and then her name's Withers. Oh, that's right, but I think if I say Jackie, though, everybody knows who I'm talking about. So great job, Jackie. You're very deserving. I know a lot of people in Paula that look up to you and look for your help in all the years that you've been around in Paula, helping everybody. So that's pretty awesome. And I remember I told my sister that you got the award, and she was like, oh, man. I think she might want to have a fundraiser for you. And of course, there's Greg. What can I say? Greg, I've known Greg for several years, of course, but I remember at the first was Education for All America. I can't remember the name of it, whatever, but there was a conference out there in Paula, and you know, it was in Paula. It was about Native American, teaching Native American education. So I went to it, and who did I see there but Greg? And I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Well, I heard about it, and so I came." And I go, "So no one told you to come here?" And he goes, "No, no one told me about it. I just found out. I saw it on like advertised somewhere, and I showed up." And so I immediately introduced him to Dr. Jolie Proudfit, who was putting that together, and she made sure that any future events he was going to be invited to, because you know, when you got people with that initiative and stuff, you gotta just let it flourish. You know, you gotta help out. And I saw that many years ago, and he's been doing a great job ever since in all kinds of avenues. If no one invites him to something, he'll show up at it anyway, because he wants to learn and he wants to provide for his students and stuff. So he's doing a great job. And I've talked with people that weren't even in his class, and they go, "Oh yeah, I like him. He's really cool." Stuff. So great job, Greg. You deserve it. And of course, I got to do a shout out to Greg's dad. He was a great supporter of our radio station. You know, as you might know, I worked at the radio station there in Paula. Greg's dad lived right there in Paula Mesa. He could hear the radio station from there, and he was always calling us and asking about a song, or asking us to play a song, or winning tickets from us all the time. Every year he won tickets from us for something, and he was a big supporter of us. And it took me a long time to realize that that was actually Greg's dad, even though that name is familiar. You know, it's an unusual name for this area. And but yeah, he's a great guy. And actually, I think he's like my brother, kind of, right? One time he was in the hospital, and Greg told me he was there, so I went down to see him. And when I walked to the door, I guess his dad was in really bad shape at the time, and I got to the door, and they wouldn't let me in. They said only family was allowed. And I said, "Oh, well, I just wanted to see if I could talk to him for a minute." And he goes, "Eric, is that you?" And he couldn't even see me through the curtain, but he goes, "Eric, is that you?" And I go, "Yeah, it's me." And he goes, "Let him in. That's my brother." But yeah, Greg's dad was pretty awesome. And I see where Greg gets the genes from. He's a really good job. And along with Greg and Jackie and all of our teachers and staff, you know, I wanted to make this small statement was, you know, our enrollment makes us a small school district, but our teachers and staff make us a great school district. And I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that. Just because we're small doesn't mean we have some great things going on with some great staff and great teachers. Thank you.
First, I want to congratulate everybody who got an award, but it goes beyond that, right? You might not get an award, but it doesn't mean that you're not doing a great job. And we can see from everything that happens that the community and people who might not have a stake actually in the school district are still giving time. And time is really precious. And, you know, I appreciate so much people that are contributing for the cause. Public education is critical for the future of the country, and we cannot get enough of that help, enough of that support. And it's not always, you know, signing a check or giving dollars. Sure, that helps, but it's also really committing and seeing the commitment of everybody to the betterment of our future. It's just heartwarming, and I feel humbled and really proud to be part of a small part of that effort. Then I might get the recording of that session and show my boss that I can be useful even doing nothing. So that way maybe I can do nothing at work. But overall, one of the things that's not being mentioned in the study process of one of Mr. Hinchliff's class is in the debate, in speech and debate class, one of the things that's being taught to the kids, it's gathering facts, learning from different news sources, making the difference between I'm not going to say right and wrong, but different opinions. And you've heard me say many times critical thinking is really essential in what we're doing, and we can see in our society that it's really there. And I wish that it was not an elective. I wish that every student would have to understand that diversifying your news source, being willing to listen to opinions that not comfort you into your own, getting out of the echo chambers, all those kind of things are making students better prepared to understand the crazy world that we're living in. And you know, at the end of the day, we can get the knowledge anywhere on the internet with AI or things like that, but those soft skills are what's going to save us from the Skynet of the future. So you know, everybody in the community, keep doing what you're doing, pour your heart into what you're doing, and keep supporting the kids in any way, shape, or form that you can do, and that hopefully going to shape us for a better future. Thank you.
I'd like to thank our community partners that were recognized tonight. It's incredible the amount of time, the coordination. I know the first, when the North Coast Church and Bonsall Women's Club, and I remember the North Coast Church when I was told they were going to have 600 people out to do the farm at the first, and I kind of laughed, and I said, that sounds like 3 people working and other people eating donuts and you know, drinking coffee, because that amount of coordination is incredible. And what they've done is really amazing, and I think that it's something that we're all very thankful for. So I wanted to thank them and all our employees. I think, you know, we recognized those, but I'm sure when we went through that list, there was a number of deserving teachers. There's always, and you're like, well, I want this person. They're all great. And the care, that's really what matters at the end. And I'm really impressed by all our employees. So thank you.
Hello. As he always does, Pascal always sometimes puts a little spark in my brain. I don't know how, he just does. I agree with him 100% on the speech and debate. I think that it should be a mandatory. And I'll tell you why, because the freedom of speech is not just a natural right. It serves a utility function. It's essential. You know, Voltaire said, he says, I might not agree with what you're saying, but I'll die for your right to say it. And so what that tells us is that protecting free speech is not about protecting the speech that you agree with. It's protecting the speech that you don't agree with, because people should have a right to say what they want to say. And English philosopher John Stuart Mill said, he said that listening to opinions different than yours they actually have a utility. Number one, when you listen to somebody else's speech, if you disagree with it, it gives you a chance to reevaluate your own speech, to see if, hey, yeah, you're right, I am right. Number two, what if they're partially right? Then it gives you a chance to revise your own beliefs. Or number three, what if they're completely right and you find out you're wrong? Well, it gives you a chance to adopt a new view. So it serves a function, and it's important, because I know a lot of people hate it when oh, well, that person, I don't agree with them. Challenge yourself next time to listen to them, to see what they have, and say, hey, is there any element, is there any grain of truth in anything they're saying? And you might find out, no, you feel the same way, but at least you gave yourself a chance to kind of reflect on your own views. So I'm sorry, that just set me on that little tangent there. I've been very emotional lately, and for some reason today's board meeting has gotten me very emotional. When the church came up here and I saw all those people up there, you know, working, I was getting choked up, because it's just, to me, for people to you know, put their time and to help out in that kind of a magnanimous manner is just, to me, it was emotionally overwhelming. So when I was watching it, it just gave me a sense of pride, and I was just very, very happy to see that. I wish they were still here so I could tell them that, but unfortunately they left. I want to mention also about the awards. This is also my favorite meeting of the year, because we get to see all the people who get the awards. And I got to see a couple people who I know, Mr. Hinchcliffe and Mrs. Powell, because she's taught my children. And so, you know, I think it's, and I'll just say, Mr. Hinchcliffe, it's well-deserved, by the way. Very, very well-deserved. I've told you in the past about how much time and effort he puts into the speech and debate and what the time commitment is on that. And if you've never been involved in that, you have no concept of how many hours it goes into that. I mean, it is insane. And so we're very, very lucky to have you here, and I just wanted to say I appreciate you for that. The last thing I want to say is, you know, this last year, this time is also the time when colleges come about, right? And that's when everybody finds out where they go to college and they have to commit. And this year was a roller coaster for me. My daughter, she got accepted to Yale. And the reason I tell you that is because she came from here. And she was here for 8 years. And so, and when we were touring Yale's campus, I told her, I said, well, tell me some of the teachers in your life that, you know, that you feel helped you get here. And she started saying, well, Mr. Miller, you know, Mrs. Powell. She started naming all these teachers from Bonsall. And so it really touched me and made me proud of our school district because, you know, Nani over here is going to a very Ivy League school. It just shows us that our mission is possible. We can help these kids get to anywhere they want to go. No matter what their objective is, we have the people that can get them there. And so I just want to say thank you to all the teachers and staff who have lifted these kids and helped them go to fulfill wherever they want. And it's an honor for me to sit here, which goes on to my last thing I want to say really quick. In acknowledgments, you know, we're acknowledging everybody. I want to acknowledge the board, the people that I work with. First, I want to talk about Nani and Eiley, who sit through these long meetings. And you're right, they're not the most, sometimes, you know, they're not the most interesting, but they stay here. And they do the whole meetings, right? They don't, you know, and so I'm really proud of them, and it's really impressive to see that kind of dedication. Eric is probably one of the biggest hearted people that I know. He's always got, you know, very good input in conversations. He's very open-minded. Very lucky to have him. Pascal, he works a full-time job. And yet he has time to go to these committees, and during the day he rearranges his schedule to come to the board meetings. And he brings a perspective, as I told you earlier, he's always making my mind pop, you know, and I enjoy that. And Roger over here spends tons of time. He's at all the committees. He goes through that budget. I mean, I don't know how many hours he spends just perusing things. And it's just, you know, it's an honor to see him. And then Larissa here, who I swear to God must have 3 clones of herself because she's everywhere. I mean, every picture I see, every event, she's there. I don't know if you have triplets or what, but there's something going on there. And then Dr. Golly, who I'm learning more and more thinks like I do. Sometimes she says things, I'm like, boy, that's exactly what I was going to say. So, and then Gina, who is the heart and soul of this district. I mean, literally the heart and soul of this district. And so I just want to thank them for everything that they do because it is a commitment and they put a lot of energy into it. And every single board member up here takes it very seriously. And they're very proud of being part of this community. So anyway, that's all I got for today.
It's almost 8:30 and we haven't even gotten to the action items, folks. But I do have a few quick words. It is Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, and I am so very, very grateful for everyone in this community who makes sure that we are doing the best we can for all of the children to get the best education possible. I would just say Jackie was in the lobby a minute ago, but I found a quote that I thought was very much applicable as she was referred to as a matriarch of the Vivian Banks School and is a grandmother relative generationally. And there's a quote by G.K. Chesterton that says, "Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another." And I think that really encapsulates, especially the small district that we are and the family feel that we have here, And it is very generational. You know, we've heard stories today about how people have gone to school with each other and know the community very well. And our community partners, very blessed to have them. The art show this is the third annual Stages of Inspiration art show. I actually joined the Bonsall Women's Club because the first one it was the final straw that broke the camel's back because of all the wonderful things, in terms of giving checks to, or giving a big check to the school district in order to help subsidize, because we all know that teachers are always paying for things that they'd like for their classroom that, don't necessarily have budget. And so it's nice to have, some little bit of offsetting of funds for that. The art show, one of my favorite jobs that I ever had was I was an art gallery director for a number of years. So it's kind of fun being able to curate, some beautiful art, submissions throughout the district and have children really be able to express themselves. I was debating between two quotes. There was a Michelle Obama quote, but I chose a Ronald Reagan quote about art education. Civilizations are most often remembered for their art and thought. I have always believed in the definition of an educated man or woman as one who could, if necessary, refound his or her civilization. That means we must teach our students more than hard facts and floppy disks. We must teach them the rich artistic inheritance of our culture and an appreciation of how fine music enriches both the student who studies it and the society that produces it. The existence of strong music and fine arts curricula are important to keeping the humanities truly humanizing and liberal arts education truly liberating. So I'm very proud to be a part of a amazing art experience that goes from TK through 12th plus all the way through our community members with the Bonsall Women's Club art submissions. Very grateful to Nessie Berger for sponsoring all those prizes that we gave to all of the students. And the student board reps, Nani Illy, who I know she wasn't feeling well, so she left a little bit early today. I read a book, one of my favorite Dr. Seuss books, The Places You'll Go to First Graders earlier this year, but it's still very applicable for seniors as well. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. Looking forward to hearing all the amazing things you're going to accomplish. Please keep in touch, and thank you for all you've done to represent Bonsall Unified so beautifully. So thank you to everyone in our community. And now for some meat and potatoes of our agenda today. We have our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our information items. And we have a presentation from the Vivian Banks Charter School, and looking forward to having you share that with us today.
Good evening, school board, Dr. Golly, Ms. McInerney, Nani. Congratulations, by the way. And community members here as well. Thank you for all being here. So we're going to give an update on where we're at with our charter council revision of the charter itself. We'll talk about the future of the school and just the pride that we have in our community. So I'm joined, feel very fortunate to be joined by two very awesome people, Tina Calabrese, incoming principal, who I'm very excited to work with, and community member and charter council member Tashina Trujillo. So we are presenting together. I am going to lead us off here. So the purpose of our presentation, and we will all touch on these, but first, who was Vivian Banks? Because Vivian Banks was a very important person in the community of Paula, and has direct relational ties to Tashina and many people here in the community. So we'll get to that. And she was a very beloved individual, and many of our existing students and families have a direct tie to her relationship and what she brought to the community. She also served on this very school board that we're talking about here for over 40 years, which is very impressive. We're going to talk about just bringing awareness to the importance of continuing to have a neighborhood school in Paula, ensuring that the public understands the rich history of the tribe, ensuring there is district and public support to enhance and grow Vivian Banks Charter School, and spend a few minutes explaining the needs of the students, the families, and the staff. Okay, so first I'm going to just give a brief overview of the facilities update. As you all know, there's been a lot of changes and things going on at the site, so this is kind of our big update and where we're at. So mid-January, asbestos and termite concerns were raised by Two Chile Healing Hearts and site administration, which would be me. And at that point, we, contacted Dr. Gawley, and we all started working on that. Termite inspections started in March, and then early April is when we started the move. We vacated multiple classrooms on campus, and we remain in that state through the end of the school year. Classrooms vacated included rooms 11, which was where we had creative movement and music classes, room 10, which was 3rd grade, room 9, which was ELL and reading intervention, room 6, which was the resource room, room 4, which was 1st and 2nd grade, room 3, which was K 1st grade, room 2, which was the staff lounge, and the cafeteria. So the majority of the site was impacted. Even room 4, or 4th grade, which was, or is Miss Amerson's room, didn't have to move out, but Miss Amerson, in her graciousness, moved her entire class closer to the front. We put up a particle or some kind of board, and we had a kind of a secondary workspace in the back of her room. So quite literally the only room on campus that has not been impacted is the 5th grade classroom. And this has been a huge challenge, but I just want to reiterate that I am just incredibly honored and blessed to work with the amazing staff, some of whom are here tonight, because this has been a very tough time, something that nobody could have anticipated. And we made this move, but also we're trying to take care of our kids, because this is very, very hard for our kids. And I just am incredibly impressed by them through this time. So early April, we also made a move in, thanks to an awesome partnership with our local diocese, who were fortunate enough to we share this property. So our K 1st grade classroom and our 3rd grade classroom moved over to the adjacent San Juan Diego Center. You can actually see it right over here. Beautiful building. And so 2 classes are there through the end of the year. All other classrooms have been absorbed via very collaborative use of spaces and very creative use of spaces throughout campus. So we've made it work. And then also mid-April, after inspections, Orion Structural Engineering issued the visual structural assessment report of the site. And fortunately, the report came back fairly minimal compared to what we initially thought would be needs for repair. Okay. So a little bit more on that, as far as now kind of looking forward with now that that's done. Local diocesan leadership has agreed to cover the cost of the repairs, asbestos, termite tenting, some termite damage to classroom and school spaces in preparation for fall 2025, which is awesome. And again, I just need to give a huge shout out to Claudia and Father G and Father Raphael. They've been completely supportive in every step of the way. So I think the local grassroots, and many of you were part of that too, has been a pleasure in a very hard time. And then the diocese has expressed full 100% support to keep the school site open for the incoming school year. The parish also has determined that 100% of funds raised from their upcoming annual event, the Corpus Christi Festival, will benefit Vivian Banks Charter School, which is incredibly awesome. This is a flyer. It's June 1st. It's essentially a 24-hour event, and all proceeds will go toward the school. And that's something the entire parish determined. Yeah, so that's a really cool thing. Yeah. Okay. So as far as Charter Council goes, now Charter Council, we are mandated to meet a few times a year. This year we've met probably, I think we're at about number 6 or 7, maybe it seems like, but we've had a lot of work to do. So the Charter Council, in case you weren't aware, it functions very similar to like a school site council. It's made up of school employees and community members. The way that we've run it this year is all staff members, teachers, paraprofessionals, custodial, everybody's a member of Charter Council. And community membership, we have just recently recruited a lot of new membership, which is very exciting. Paula Chairman Robert Smith, Paula Vice Chairman Brandon Johnson, Paula Council Member Carla Nejo, Paula Community Member Bud Machado, Paula Community Member Deanne Garcia, and our very awesome co-presenter, Paula Community Member Tashina Trujillo. And through recent Charter Council meetings, we put out various surveys in collaboration with the school district and Dr. Golly. So again, I appreciate that collaboration. And the surveys determined that community support for the school is incredibly strong, to the tune of for families that attend the school, over 95%. So very, very strong. Okay, so the revision of the charter itself. The most recent charter revision was spring 2017. So we began work on revising the charter in January. We submitted the updated charter for review in early March, and then we received a request to amend it and get a little more specific to further specify the vision for the future of the school. So we had multiple charter council meetings to survey again and determine the strong community consensus, so we can have a consensus on what the vision will be moving forward. And even though we did a lot of meetings, I tried to, when I wrote this up, I tried to make it very concise and clear in one hugely run-on sentence. But I think I did it, maybe. So what we see here is the existing vision that was new, but this is right here in the bold. This is what we have added. So I want to read it quickly, and this is something that is not me. It's not Ms. Calabrese. It's not Tashina. It is the community voice. This is what we were asked to do: is get what the community would like. This is what the community would like. The Charter Council of Vivian Banks Charter School, in partnership with the school district, tribe, and diocese, strives to work toward enhancing a K-5 school with no combination classes, small class sizes of no more than 20 students, to emphasize early literacy intervention and support, and a culturally relevant blend of community-centered and certified teacher-supported electives. Okay. So a few things, because data is very important, right? I mean, we very much run in education, well, I do, and I know everybody here does, on emotion, right? And we love our kids, but we also have to look at our data, right? So some very interesting data that I think says a lot here. So very quickly, we did some comparison of just 92059 zip code. Students who attend Vivian Banks and who attend Bonsall Elementary School. Attendance rates for the school year of Vivian Banks, 93.92% of students in 92059. At Bonsall Elementary, 88.65. So over 5% better at Vivian Banks. That's the part where we did claps. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, so here's some more stuff. So assessment, okay, so again, we're looking at 92059. This is a kind of crazy chart here, but we've got kindergarten, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are our grades, and then we've got them again over here. So reading. So that we're looking here, these are reading scores comparing VBCS and BES with 92059 zip code. Everything in bold in comparison to one another, that was the higher score. Okay, so kindergarten, 2.14, and as far as these numbers go, 2.14 is approaching, 3 is, or 2 is close, 3 is approaching, 4 is at grade level. Okay, so, but I just want to really point out and give a shout out. I think she's still here. Yes, she is. Miss Lyons right there is a wonder worker and an awesome educator. Okay. She also has and we say this all the time. I mean, she's amazing, and her class of just amazing little souls are awesome. So, yes. And oh yes. Hi Anna. Anna as well. I owe you something now after that. Yeah, after that omission. But we can see here reading score and math score. Miss Lyons and Miss Batista's class definitely rocked it. Yes. Also, we can really highlight third grade. Miss Jessica Knust, who's just, I've known Jessica for about 8 years now, and she is just an amazing person and educator as well, and she's done wonders. 3.66 for reading, and so at grade level for math. Okay, that is awesome work. And that's also our employee of the year right over here, Miss Withers, who works hand in hand in partnership with Miss Knust. That is her efforts as well. So thank you, Miss Jackie. So what we can see here is, and then I'm about done, and then I'll hand it off to Tina, who will be much more interesting than my presentation here. But this is something that I don't think as educators we like to tout what we do, but this is something that I am very proud of the staff and their accomplishments. When I received this data from Dr. Golly and we really kind of looked at it the other day, this is something that I'm extremely proud of. It has nothing to do with me, but I just support the teachers and this excellent work. And I think there's a perception maybe that the academics aren't quite as strong as maybe another site, and this is proof that that is incorrect. Okay, so lastly, and then I'm going to stop. The results. Okay, this demonstrates that American Indian students thrive in a small school setting, centered on individualized and culturally relevant learning models with early literacy intervention supports, and that are staffed by dedicated teachers and staff support and family and community members. Also, this is a craw that I get in my cap, but I have the mic, so I'll just, current enrollment is 74. We added 3 within the last, yes, that is a great thing. And they're 3 awesome kids. Our current enrollment is 74, but that is 74 amazing human beings that are going to have improved outcomes through being at Vivian Banks, through matriculation at Sullivan, and through graduation at BHS, due to a strong foundation that they're receiving at Vivian Banks Charter School. So with that, I'm going to pass on to Ms. Tina Calabrese.
Small investment now
something. First off, I want to say thank you to the board for giving me this opportunity. You have no idea how excited I am. I'm so excited to go through the meetings next year. And I may get emotional. Who is it? Mr. Taz said he's emotional, right? I get emotional when I hear stories about kids, right? And I've had the privilege of working with 10 students from Paula. They were not successful in typical high school setting. They are successful in a smaller setting. And I think it really speaks volumes to the James. I've only had a small opportunity to meet some of the amazing staff, the most dedicated staff you're ever going to want to meet. I know all of our staff members and Bonsall Unified are fantastic. I have seen the Vivian Bank staff stay late for meetings, stay till 5:30. I believe that one meeting at 5:30, right? So I'm going to Orange County. But they stayed till 6 because they love these kids. I'm going to love these kids too. I already do. I went to 2 days and I was so happy. Anyways, some things that already happened. So I got to go to Cuba Days. I was so excited to go to Cuba Days on Sunday. And it was fantastic. I felt like kind of a bit of a creeper because I had a little family and I was going to all these kids. Ready for school. But it was a little bit awkward. But anyway, as long as it can be, and the parents were okay. But I was able to interview a lot of current and former students regarding what they love about Vivian Banks, what they'd like to see change, and what overwhelmingly happened was every single student, whether they left to go to Bonsall Elementary School or whether they stayed, they all said the same thing. They love the school. They love their staff. They love being able to go to the neighborhood school with their family, with their friends. I've been able to connect with tribal leaders. Chairman Smith is probably getting tired of me saying texting. He's in Sacramento right now. But about scheduling a meeting, because I have ideas. I have ideas of ways to raise money because I'm passionate about not having combination classes. I've always been at different schools and combination classes come up when you have staffing changes, right? And typically, I've worked at a high military school, right, where there was always changes in staffing. And I've worked over in Stewart Mesa, which is also another military school where there's always changing. Combination classes are difficult, but I have to go elsewhere.
No, I'm getting a text from people saying they can't hear you. Could you speak to the mic, please?
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Sorry, I moved away from the mic. All right. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So talked a little bit about interviewing current and former students regarding what they like and don't like. Overwhelmingly, students saying that they love, love, love the small family feel. Connected with tribal leaders, got Chairman Smith on speed dial, and setting up some ideas and things for possible funding because I'm incredibly passionate about not having combination classes for students. It's different when you have a combination class that's set up specifically for students where you have a high grade level coming in and a lower student from another grade level. Very different when you're just tossing kids together based on grade level, right? The students out of Vivian Banks need that support. They deserve that support, right? It sends a message when we don't invest in our kids, just saying. But I have ideas of raising money, so don't worry. Connected with staff regarding suggestions to increase enrollment. Interviewed a lot of former parents as well for future enrichment opportunities, and continue to find different ways that we can really support the needs of the kids for academics, ways to feel like they belong, and ways to support the social emotional health. Some student and parent comments. This was very interesting. I researched and found an article from 2016 about Paula in the San Diego Unified Tribune. And this is one of the statements that was said. "I feel this is where I belong and I feel comfortable here," said Feather, a member of the Capeno Indian tribe. "It's like family here. I have friends that have my culture and traditions." Her father, Guy, this was part of the article, is a tribal member who's lived on the reservation all of his life, who also attended school when the school campus was a Catholic school. One family member said, "I miss Vivian Banks." And another student said, "I loved all my teachers and I love that I went to school with friends and family." So interesting thing about Guy is Guy was at the mural unveiling and he hadn't planned on singing from my understanding, and yet he did, and it was the most impactful thing. I have it on my phone, and my granddaughter yesterday found my phone because they always do find your phone. and started playing that. And she was so fascinated just to hear the bird singing and the bird dancing. And it kind of sparked a conversation for her too about why do they do this, you know, and I was able to connect it to something that connects for her as well. But incredibly important to notice this, right? This school has been operated since '96. Before that, it was a Catholic school. You're talking about generations and generations and generations of people where it's grandfathers, great-grandfathers, great-great-grandfathers who've attended this school. And this school it's an icon in this community. And it is so incredibly important to keep this school open and also show that support, right? There's distrust, from my understanding. There's distrust with the Paula community, right, as well as the district. And we need to try to build and rebuild that bridge. And this is one way that we can do it. Okay, so you ask, all right, Tina, what are you going to do? We need to increase the culturally relevant curriculum, right? This is something that is so incredibly important to our students. The reason why we have those scores up on that board is because we have fantastic teachers, yes, but the kids feel like they belong somewhere. This is their community school. This is their neighborhood school. Did you know it takes 11 to 12 miles one way for students to travel from Paula Reservation to school in the district? It's not fair for these kids to not go to their neighborhood school, right? But ways that we can try to really increase the profile and really try to market this school is by bringing in more culturally relevant opportunities, right? Doing the beading, doing the bird singing and the bird dancing, doing the agriculture and farming and gardening, having tribal readers that come read weekly with the kids, really increasing that academic rigor. The kids are asking for it. They're begging for it. Some of the families said that that's why they left, but now they kind of miss the school too, because that was their family, that was their home. Really deepening that parent engagement, right? We want to make sure that we have those literacy nights and those cultural festivals where we really celebrate what makes Vivian Banks so special, right? Bringing back those movie nights and bringing back a running club, having those weekly assemblies like Tashina was telling me about right before this meeting, and really advertising the charter school as a destination place. There are so many different, I used to work in Valley Center, and that was also a home to so many Native American cultures, right? People need to know about this school. So I was fortunate that I was able to reach out and connect with All Tribes principal, Ms. Parada. We've been going and playing phone tag a little bit, but to research some different programs and grants, right, to raise money. Connected with Stacy Block from SDCOE, and we were able to sign, both Mr. Costa and I were able to sign an agreement, right, for a consortium proposal through the U.S. Department of Indian Education. These are all things that have happened in literally less than a week, okay? When I talk about these things, it's that passion. It's something that happens when you step on that campus. You just want to fight for these kids. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional. I don't know what, I think it's when you get older, Mr. Gaddis. I think you get emotional when you get older. I'm not going to lie. But what this will do, this partnership will expose our staff to more culturally relevant education opportunities. It will also allow us to enable our students to have access to some of those college and career opportunities specific for their culture. I've also researched some state resources. I've sent requests for grants from Judy Delgado. She's California Director of American Indian Education of the California Department of Ed. I've also scheduled a day where I get to come meet one-on-one with the staff members. That's going to be next week. And tomorrow I plan to go and meet every parent at pickup, not drop-off. Drop-off's kind of crazy, I've heard. Just to find out about what the culture, values, wants, and needs of the school are. Researching grant opportunities through the state and TANF, also connecting with California Indian Manpower for additional financial opportunities. I also was able to make a connection for one of our students in the ATP program who's going to be aging out. And they do have a training program for students when they graduate high school. Connected with the Culture Center Cupeño language instructor. He's very interested in bringing some sporting activities as well as doing more of the language support. And exchange information with a former Paula student, Tashina, who's willing to help us out with some beading opportunities, some bird dancing and singing, which happens together. I was thinking they were separate, but it makes sense now. And I reserved a commitment for future donations for students and families during the holidays. I was able to get gifts donated for all the kids, as well as a basketball hoop. And then just developing a plan for future events to increase that enrollment and interest of the school. So please see the passion on my face. I want this school to grow and thrive. I'm going to get us that money so we can get those extra 2 teachers for next year, because that's what matters for these kids. And this was such a highlight for me. I loved interviewing the kids. The kids were so adorable and so much fun, and just hearing and seeing their passion on their face and how excited they were. So I'm going to pass it over to the highlight of the evening, which is Ms. Tashina Trujillo.
Hello, my name is Tashina Trujillo. I'm a former student of Vivian Banks Charter School, community member of Paula, and great niece of Vivian Banks herself. I am here because I care for this school. This school taught and gave me a lot. This is where I found my voice, and now I will use my voice in hopes that it helps keep Vivian Banks Charter School open for many more years to come. We lack numerous resources. There is much funding and improvement needed and wanted. However, we are rich in many other ways. We have a community here, we have a sense of family here, we have strong bonds and roots that tie us together. This is a place our Paula kids feel at home, they feel safe, they feel loved, they feel seen. Why is it that Vivian Banks has less resources than any other Bonsall school? Why is it that I walk into Bonsall Elementary and I see everything as state-of-the-art and top of the line, but yet last year our 5th grade teacher had to assemble his desk out of plywood? Our current principal is using a child's desk in his principal office. We make it work with what we have. It is not a secret that we are looked down upon from other schools. It is not a secret that some people think it's easier to throw us away and throw our school away. Vivian Banks has heart, and that's something money cannot buy. There is a reason why our staff has stayed here so long. Mr. Kosh, Miss Anna, Miss Teresa, Miss Brand, Miss Kastner, Miss Jackie, Lisa and Dennis, who care for our students after school, my grandma, Varna Trujillo, who's been here with the district for almost 40 years, and many more. Our staff comes to work knowing it could be a hard day. They know they may be yelled at and hit. They know these kids need a little extra help and care. These staff members know we need help, we need resources, we need funding, we need it all. Yet they don't give up when their job and their paycheck is at risk and on the line. We don't give up on each other, so why would anyone give up on us? What I want everyone to think about is would our Paula students get the same love and care from another school? The students that come from trauma, the students that come from neglect, the students that come from generational curses, the students that still show up. I am aware of the student needs because I was that student in need. I needed guidance, I needed someone to pay just a little closer attention to me, and that is what I got. I would like to return that favor back to Vivian Banks Charter School and offer cultural teaching such as beadwork and dressmaking to students and family. If taken up on my offer, I would also like to use my own personal connections and contacts to arrange music days where traditional bird singing and dancing could be shared and learned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity to share. We really appreciate it. And please consider what we're saying. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to open a public hearing for the review of the petition for renewal of the charter for Vivian Banks Charter School. The Bonsall Unified School District is holding this public hearing to review this petition. Today is Thursday, May 8th, and the time is now 9:02. And do we have any speakers on this topic? Okay. In which case, we are closed with our hearing. And we're not voting right now. This is just an information item. So thank you for everyone for being here for the presentation, and the board will be considering where we're going with the charter and voting next month. That brings us to our action items today. Action item 9.1, the industry partnership agreement between Bonsall Unified School District and California State University San Marcos for the Summer Small Business Academy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Bringing us to action item 9.2, the Public Works contract with Western State Builders for the installation of a new shade structure at Bonsall Elementary School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Bringing us to the presentation of the reclassification process.
Good evening, Board President Anderson, distinguished members of the board, Dr. Golly, Ms. McInerney, and the community still here joining us tonight. We have tonight have the pleasure of being accompanied by Ms. Carolina Carcamo, who is the ELD support at Bonsall West Elementary and Vivian Banks Elementary, and she is part of the team that collaborated with what we're going to present tonight as an informational item. So, and you're going to excuse me because I think I left my glasses at the district table in the back. So if anybody has seeing eyeglasses they can lend me, that would be great because I cannot see a thing. Thank you. Thank you. I know I'm going to go ahead and go with what. So what we wanted to share tonight is really the response. Yes. Perfect, actually. Okay, so what we wanted to share tonight is some of the revisions that we made to our district reclassification process, and to be able to provide some context to our ELD team, how we met in March to review our district's really English language learner data. And so we are going to tag team this presentation. So I'll let Ms. Carcamo go ahead and share the next slide.
I also want to say thank you, Ms. Veronica. Thank you, board. We understood that based on our demographics, and every year our school is changing, our demographics are changing, our scores are improving. We recognize that we need to revise our reclassification criteria. It has to actually and accurately reflect what our students are scoring and what they're doing in our schools. So for that reason, we realized that it has to be a holistic and equitable approach that considers multiple data points, such as our language assessments, academic performance, and teacher input. We were, based on our reflections, we noticed that we didn't want to prematurely reclassify students, and also we didn't want to hold them back knowing that they were prepared to reclassify. So this change is to better support our, we like to call our students multilingual learners, and that some of them are dually identified, and we're going to be going over that, and of course their long-term academic success, and along with access to grade level instruction.
So with that, we just wanted to share a little bit of the data that we kind of took a look at. And so this is actually our current data for our district. We currently are responsible for 193 students who are classified as English learners. And out of that large umbrella, 39 are students who are learning English for more than 7 years. They have not, they still have the title of English learners. And from that 193, 43 are students that have an IEP and are also designated as English learners. And out of that 193 students, as you saw in that first box, we have students that 69 have scored a 3 or 4 on the LPAC, which means that they are on the cusp of being reclassified. So it was essential for us to clearly define a process at this point, seeing our data. We knew that some of the gaps of our current process were our processes for students who are duly identified and our processes for our students who are on the cusp. There was a large number of kids on the cusp of being reclassified. One of the criteria, the first criteria to be reclassified, is a U score of 4 on the LPAC. So that's a federal mandate. We can't change that first criteria, but we knew that we had to look at the other elements that impacted our decision as a district to move forward with reclassifying them.
So this is the exciting part. Okay. Our first criteria, like Ms. Pendleton, Dr. Pendleton stated, we for sure have to have a level 4 overall on the LPAC. So that's something that we couldn't change, that's state mandated, so we know that for sure we needed to keep that criteria. It was in the second criteria that we did a revision. Of course, the students either have to get a 40% on iReady, which was the past criteria, and then we realized that we were using the percentage versus the Lexile. And we decided that it's more accurate if we use the Lexile scores. Also in comparison to other districts, we realized that that is more accurate and more functionable for our Bonsall Unified School District students. And then of course we had to also revise that the SBAC, we would only reclassify if the students were meeting or exceeding. And that too, we had to look at our English only students along with our EL learners. And we realized that there were students that were approaching. So our students were being looked at a very high criteria. So that also was revised, hopefully, if it passes. And the last one would be the district writing assessment of a 3 or a 4. So those in criteria number 2 were the ones that actually were were revised, and we will go over that. Criterion 3 is always the teacher evaluation. The teachers get to say if the student is prepared to reclassify. And number 4 is the parent input. The parent gets to decide also if they feel that their child is prepared to reclassify. So criterion 2 is where the focus was.
That in this last year, they've added, the state has added a summative alternative LPAC for students who are to have an IEP but take the CA, and that is a new criteria number 1. So we added it to criteria number 1. And the other piece that I'd like to add is that in criterion 3, it's always been a teacher observation, but we are now using the OPTAL form, which is the protocol for teachers for English learners, which is both a qualitative and a quantitative way of assessing the student's performance in all the domains of speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So it gives a better picture of the student academically, more so thoroughly than what we were using in the past. And criterion number 4 has no change. So what Ms. Carcamo was sharing in STAR and iReady, as a team, we looked at the data and we realized that there was an identifiable discrepancy in the percentile ranking between a STAR and iReady assessment. We use STAR for our secondary students and iReady for our elementary students. And when we examined it, we realized that the Lexile level that it required for a student to successfully access grade level material, we broke that down by grade level, and you'll see it if you, it's in the attachment, you could see it, we broke it down by grade level. So the expectation for each student at different grade levels would then, we'd be identifying what Lexile they would need to access grade level material. I said that better. And based on our analysis, we determined that the Lexile level provided us with more accurate reading of, and gave a more comprehensive representation of who our student was, who our students were in their reading ability.
I'd also like to reiterate that we realized the whole Lexile thing with one of our students that might reclassify for Vivian Banks Charter School. So I was like looking at that student, I was like, there's something, right? There's something that's not fitting. So just so you know, we're waiting for LPAC scores, hopefully coming at the end of the month. So with that said, the SBAC ELA, we are no longer just looking at the standard met or standard exceeded, but we are also looking at standard nearly met and seeing if the student holistically is ready to go, even though they're just nearly meeting, okay? And that has to do with, like I said, all of the population of Bonsall Unified School District. Okay, so if there are students that are English only that are nearly meeting, then it's only fair and equitable that we see that for our English language learners as well. And also, also they would have a score of 3 or above still on their district writing assessment. And the CAW is something, we don't have a lot of students that take the CAW, but that is also looked in upon when, if for some reason we have to, okay?
And so lastly, our goal and our intention to really look at who our students are here in Bonsall and what our system was doing, because our system is perfectly designed to give us those results that we get. And so we really wanted to look at the system and the processes put in place to ensure that we were giving every student equitable opportunities to meet standards comparable to their English peers. The other thing is we wanted to give them opportunities so that our secondary students could participate in early college programs, career technical education, these elective courses, and all these wonderful opportunities that our secondary students could have access to if they no longer have to take an additional English class that takes the place of their elective. And we also wanted to represent accurately our student language and academic abilities and needs across our district. So we brought this presentation to you just to give you a kind of a global understanding of why we started this journey and where we are now with it. And as Ms. Cárcamo said, we, if approved tonight, we have the opportunity to implement this new process or screen our students as early as the end of the month when we start receiving scores. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. Any questions from the board?
So when we
Dr. Pendleton, there's a question.
Question. When we reclassify someone, are they, in other words, and there's a lot of assessment there, but are they able to, let's say they were a high school student and they reclassified, would they be able to go get a job and understand and speak and everything they could? Just like if you said to me, you need to be able to speak Spanish, I wouldn't, I know a little, not enough to hold down a job.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm going to share that the first domain that students will master is speaking. It's in the writing and reading that the students struggle the most, the domain of writing and reading when you're mastering a second language. And a lot of times, depending when our students integrate into our school system, whether they integrate at a lower level, which is the elementary level, they acquire transferable skills from their primary language into their secondary language. So it actually funnels into their foundational skills that can be transferable. We have students at secondary doing the same, but it takes a student anywhere from 5 to 7 years to dominate a language. And so what we're saying here is that students are demonstrating on a test, a state test, that they are English competent in those 4 domains. And the federal government requires us to continue to monitor them 5 years after they've been reclassified for us to ensure that we're providing them the adequate support for them to be successful in our academic setting. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I would like to say that based on the history, I've been in the district for 9 years, so I've been working with our EL students, and I could tell you that when they reclassify, they accelerate. They do great after they reclassify, and so that we have plenty of evidence showing that they do, and plenty of data showing as well. And so we've been doing really well. Thank you to the district because they were able to make sure that all of the schools have equitable access to language support. Thank you.
I have a couple of comments. First, I had to look what Lexile actually was. I'm not a specialist, so if in the next time when we use those kind of more technical approach, you might want to enlighten us. And I want to comment on what Roger said. I'm definitely not a native English speaker. I've been in the US for 25 years now. And if I have not been exposed to a specific topic that's really deep in the language, I don't know the vocabulary because I've never been exposed to it. And so the only way you're gonna grow this is by having exposure. And by, there is nothing like immersion to really grow your language skills. And so the more we enable those kids to merge with native English speakers and attend the same classes, we're gonna, you mentioned it accelerate. That's exactly that, because your ear understand better. Your ability to process the language in your brain gets better, and when you start thinking in the language you're trying to speak versus trying to translate everything, it makes a huge difference. And so, how we accelerate that process, how we transfer this ability to process the language natively, not fluently, but natively, without having to translate everything. There is nothing. I'm going to make this anecdote, and if my wife's watching, she's going to laugh at that, but it's 2004. I've been in the US for 4 years, and Larry the cable guy comes on TV. Strong accent, southern, whatever. My wife and her brother are laughing like there's no tomorrow, and I'm there like, like a deer in the headlight. What the hell is going on? I am like, by the time I understand what was said, I'm like 4 sentences behind and things like that. And that made me realize that, I've been there 4 years and I'm not fluent. I understand the people that I'm used to talk to because I've learned the way they talk, but I'm not fluent in English. So, the level of fluency depends on the ecosystem you are being in. Mm-hmm. And the more we expose kids to this ecosystem, the native ecosystem, the better they're gonna appreciate it, the faster they're gonna learn, and the better they're gonna be at it. So it's not lowering the bar, it's making it more accessible to kids to access and progress. So I'm so for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That almost sounded like a motion to approve.
I definitely would like to have a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second. Our Roger.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us to action item 9.4, the turnkey enrichment partnership between Vivian Banks Charter School and Six Crickets.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the agreement with San Diego County Office of Education for participation in services for outdoor education program for the school year 24-25. This is a ratification.
Motion to approve.
No, stereo.
Well, you're on it. Oh, second.
Who is the original motion then?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Pascal, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 6, which is a continuation of the San Diego County Office of Education outdoor education program, but for 25-26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.7, the continuing membership and 25-26 designation of the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, San Diego Section Representatives to League.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.8, entering into a public works contract with MCOR Services for the work performed per the CalShape grant. This is for HVACs.
What's that?
That's for HVAC, getting all the filters and all that other stuff. We have a grant for it to clean air.
$400,000 worth of HVAC.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the MOU between CSCA and BUSD for archiving the receptionist position, and employee transition to attendance registration clerk position.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.10, the resolution 25-05-01, authorizing filing of applications for the State Allocation Board administered programs for the Bonsall Unified School District.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Action carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.11, resolution number 25-05-01, authorizing filing of applications for the State Allocation Board administered programs for Bonsall Unified School District. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the one we
Number
just did.
11. That's like, I feel like a little deja vu here. Resolution number 25-05-02 for the FY 2025-26 temporary interfund transfers of special or restricted funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.12, fiscal year 25-26 annual resolutions authorizing designated agents.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our last item of the day, action item 9.13, adoption of resolution number 25-05-08, authorizing transfers of 2024-25 district budgetary funds between expenditure classifications after June 30th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to public comment. And we have one public commentator. I bet we can't guess who it is.
Okay. Public comment. The Bonsall Unified School District Board of Trustees welcomes participation at the district school board meetings. If you wish to address an item on the agenda, you must complete this form and deliver it to the executive assistant prior to the board considering the item. If you wish to address the board considering matters within the board's subject matter jurisdiction that are not on the agenda, you must complete this form and deliver it to the executive assistant prior to the public comment section of the agenda. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. It is requested that speakers address the board from the podium when addressing the board. Commander Joe.
Thank you very much. The big three, B-A, believe, belong, believe, achieve. The big four, service, innovation, collaboration, integrity. Keep up the good work on all of that. You're doing it. I've got 5 quick bullets. Number 1, the teacher importance, the teaching, education, highest calling, as Dr. Golly brought up with Nelson Mandela quote, and the North Coast Church, what they exhibited, just amazing. What the education boards and you all and staff, that teaching and education boards and staff is the highest calling. The highest calling. Specifically, a teacher and a board affects eternity. Eternity. No one can tell where his or her influence stops. After you all are gone, because you're all going to be living at least to 120, it carries on. It goes on for eternity. Again, a teacher or a board affects eternity. No one can tell where his or her influence stops. Now, who quoted that? That's Henry Adams. He's the grandson and great-grandson of 2 American presidents. So that's number 1 bullet. Number 2 bullet. Keep up the budget battles. The budget battles. I just saw in the UT San Diego a couple days back that the mental health grants have been cut 2 years early for 2 school districts. La Mesa Spring Valley School District, that's a K through 8. They're losing about $6 million. 2 years early. Now maybe that won't happen. Hopefully it won't. Lemon Grove, K through 8, they're losing $1 million. So just keep up the battles. Things are going. Money, money, money is very, very important. That's for sure. Number 3 bullet item. Number 1, number 2, number 3, Columbia University. Again, congrats. Keep up the great work. And she'll be, even though she's not here right now, she'll always be with you. And your reports have been absolutely fantastic throughout the year. Great motivator for the community and for yourself, and making yourself very, very proud. Number 4 bullet, blood donation program. You happen to be there. Fantastic. My blood was accepted, so that was nice. I think I was the last one there. And I want to point out to the school board that the security was fantastic. I had my passport, so I go to the gate and said, no, we need your driver's license. Okay, need the driver's license. Took a picture of the driver's license. I had a badge that was put on here, and where I'm supposed to go and all of that. I mean, I thought I was getting into the Pentagon. It was fantastic. The security was very, very good. There was a person there, very kind, very, no, sorry, I need to see your driver's license. I don't need your military ID, the retired, and all of that. So very, very good. The blood donation thing was fantastic, and you were right there. And number 5, the last thing, is my wife gave me an 82-year-old birthday present because it's August 1943, so it's coming up here. But she surprised me with the Bonsall High School supporter. And I say, yeah, but I'm all talk and no action, but I'm very, very proud of this, and I'll be wearing it to Walmart or whatever, and I should probably have something put on the back or whatever. Just keep up the great work, and thank you so much for all that you do for all of us, and keep that woke business. I know that's kind of negative to some people. DEI, nothing wrong with that. So keep up the good work. Keep your going, and your comments, and then all of you over here just doing a wonderful job. All right.
Well, that was a very fabulous meeting, and we are going to call it at 9:30 something as soon as I report that we have 2 upcoming meetings in June. The first regularly scheduled meeting is Wednesday, June 18th, and that's here at 6 p.m. with closed session starting at 4:30. It's also budget month, so we will have a special board meeting on Thursday, June 26th. It says no closed session in the agenda, but there might be a closed session because of all the exciting things going on in our district. And we might also be having that online. So that would be a virtual meeting potentially. And with that, we will officially conclude. It's still 9:30. So thank you very much for staying the whole time. I couldn't imagine my husband actually.
Was my guess right?